Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data to go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. 13 of Guam's 15 senators have endorsed a resolution that calls on Governor Lou Leon Guerrero to ask the military to pause all construction on the live fire training range complex on Northwest Field at Andersen Air Force Base. During a news conference at the Guam Congress building yesterday morning, each senator was given an opportunity to explain why they think construction on the firing range complex should be paused. Senator Therese Terlahi said she supports a pause to allow professionals to assess the cultural findings. Senator Sabina Perez said she supports the pause to reassess whether recent discoveries should be preserved in place. Senator Talina Nelson said she wants to send a message to the people of Guam to let them know lawmakers are not sleeping on issues that affect our heritage. None of the senators would say how long of a pause they sought, as long as it takes, said Senator Joe San Augustine. If the economic impact is bad, said Senator Tello Taidagui, it's justifiable, she said, because we're protecting our culture. Senators Mary Torres and James Moylan did not endorse the resolution. Senator Torres is off island and was not available for comment. Senator Moylan issued a statement saying it would be premature to pass a resolution seeking a temporary pause until we have the opportunity to hear from the Department of Defense. He pointed out that construction has already been paused around the recently discovered sites, and he recommended talking with military officials first to learn more about their preservation efforts and then deciding whether a resolution to pause construction is necessary. Meanwhile, there are 18 surviving fire trees on Guam that are being preserved in the Guam National Wildlife Refuge at Retidian. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and some senators have said there was only one surviving tree left on island, which they felt was being threatened by construction of the firing range complex. However, following a meeting with senators on Friday, the governor agreed to ask the military for up to a 6-month pause in construction around that tree to allow for DNA testing to see if it could reproduce. However, Tammy Summers, the manager for the local refuge site, told the Guam Daily Post that the refuge received funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to help keep the Cereanthes nelsoni tree from going extinct. Efforts began at UOG as early as 1998 with the support of the Air Force and Guam's Department of Agriculture to collect seedlings from the fire tree and grow them at a protected nursery and then transplant some of them to the Retidian Refuge. James McConnell, a professor of ornamental horticulture at UOG, says the mature fire tree that the governor and some senators are concerned about has been protected through a variety of efforts, primarily by the Department of Defense. We'll have more news after this.
When your family needs medical care, how often do you find the need to visit multiple clinics? When a child has a serious ailment, do you find yourself meeting a medical provider only to learn you must go somewhere else for testing? At the FHP Health Center, you can find multiple specialties and testing services under one roof. And if your family needs urgent care, FHP is there for you with convenient weekday, evening, and weekend hours. Voted the island's best clinic in Pica's Best 2 years in a row. FHP, our island, your clinic. Learn more at FHPGuam.com.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. 4 years after the explosion that destroyed the Cabras 3 and 4 power generating units, the Guam Power Authority is about to fight a legal battle against the company hired to manage the power plant, Korea East-West Power. Korea East-West Power was the project manager for Cabras 3 and 4, as well as several other unnamed companies and their insurers, who are named in a lawsuit filed by GPA and its insurer in Superior Court. The lawsuit was filed earlier this year. A hearing date was recently set for late July or early August on the lawsuit. In its lawsuit, GPA accuses Korea East-West of being grossly negligent in creating an unreasonable risk of harm. The explosion and fire rendered the Cabras units unusable, depriving the island of 78 megawatts of power and causing a return to load shedding. While the incident was ruled accidental and the root cause left undetermined, according to the lawsuit, an investigation found that the explosion resulted from work performed by Korea East-West, a contractor called PM Control Systems, and other unnamed companies. Jeffrey Limo, the former head of Internal Affairs at the Department of Corrections, has reached a plea deal with the government of Guam. Limo is among several former correction officials charged in 2017 in connection with a contraband smuggling scheme at the prison. He was charged with conspiracy to promote major prison contraband, receiving bribes, and official misconduct. Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola said yesterday that she received Limo's plea agreement on June 14th, but the details of that agreement were not released. Limo is among the last of the 11 co-defendants to reach a settlement in the nearly 2-year-old case. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Looks like partly cloudy skies again today, Kevin, with some isolated showers. East winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing 5 to 15 after sunset. Highs near 90 degrees, and overnight low should be about 79 degrees. Might have caught a couple of rain showers yesterday, a little bit of early morning showers. Could make some of the roads wet for you this morning. Sunset tonight, 6:51. Sunrise this morning was at 5:55, and I think we got the radar back up there, buddy.
Yes, we do. I checked it yesterday afternoon, even made a little post on my own, and it had come back, and really not much to show on it. Got a few isolated showers out there, a little more down to the south. That's kind of what we're used to seeing in the diurnal cycle, so these should phase out. We should have some more pop up later, but they'll be few and far between as we are in a fairly dry trade wind weather pattern.
Yeah.
That'll continue probably right on through tomorrow and maybe Thursday, but they're saying by Thursday, some of this moisture from what is 95W Invest, a very weak tropical disturbance to our south. Actually, it's to our southeast. The center of it is off to the east. It's down where that little curl of clouds is that's going from northwest to southeast.
Yeah.
So it's to the southeast of the bigger part of the blobage. Anyway.
It's southeast of southeast.
It really is, yeah. But it's down there. It's blobage, and it's going to be coming this way, bringing some moisture. But the Weather Service is backing off any calls for significant rainfall from this system. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Off to the northwest, lots of blobage has exploded there, where the old 94W Invest has encountered some warm water, and it's kind of flaring up there, and it's also helping to enhance the southwest monsoon for the folks in the Philippines, and they really need that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No effect to us, though. It's just something pretty to look at.
Because it's very hot there in Manila, in the Philippines. It was very hot. It was, but it's the one, like I said, makes your butt flaps all sweaty.
Manila's the only place I've ever lived where it'll get hot right before it rains and stay hot during the rain and get hotter afterwards.
Quarter after 6 o'clock in the morning. That's news and weather together here, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches. They place roots.
The sky's the limit with Bank Pacific's secure MyCloud banking. You can access your account 24/7 with your smartphone, your computer, your iPad, or any other tablet. You can pay bills, set up alerts, check your balances, wire transfer money. It's never been easier. Enroll online or come on in and see one of our friendly staff. Digital Life, Digital Solutions. Bank Pacific.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
Oh, boy, yeah, you know, it's tough, this job sometimes, because I get these clients out here and on the radio, and they say, Ray, why don't you talk about some of the food that we've got in our restaurant over at Ruby Tuesdays? And they send me all of these packages, and they've got photographs in them, and then they say, yeah, just use your best judgment in the description of what it is. And it's hard to do sometimes, because this stuff, it makes me kind of totla. It makes the lawai want to come out of the mouth here. Crab fondue. Let's start with, it's an actual starter. It's an app that you can get over at Ruby Tuesdays. It's crab fondue, savory cheese fondue dipped with lump crab meat, served with a pile of crispy tortilla chips. Didn't that sound? Never mind starters at lunchtime or dinner. This is something that you want for breakfast now, isn't it? Crab meat for breakfast? I'm in. So find that with some of your other favorites and maybe new favorites over at Ruby Tuesdays. Portions of the program also brought to you by APL, American President Lines. They're shipping the future, Micronesia Renewable Energy. And remember, their tagline is, there's never been a better time to go solar. And now that they've got the batteries that you can hook up with the systems, even better. And Cars Plus up in Mighty passed by yesterday. Did notice that there's still a couple of Chargers and Challengers on the lot, which means that you haven't gone up there for your test drive yet. Try to get that in before the middle of the week or before the Performance Day sale ends at Cars Plus in Mighty.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
For Manila, is it raining out there? Who sent that in? I want to say it's is Rico back there? Somebody has gotten back to Manila, which again, a town in the Philippines. Maybe you've heard of it. 6:17 in the morning. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. It's just a thrill to be here with you this morning. And do me a favor. I run into somebody yesterday, and just the nicest guy comes up. He says, "I love listening to you on the radio. By the way, are you still on?" And I'm going, yeah, I'm every morning. As a matter of fact, I go to work at 93 point. Anyway, is one of these guys that used to listen to me before at the other radio station, hasn't found me yet. You found me, so mention it just casually if you can. Just whoever it is that you run into today. Oh, by the way, did you hear what Ray Gibson said about the 35th Guam Legislature, the 13 blind mice, on his program this morning? And just, oh, yeah, and just, oh, yeah, he's on FM now and all of that stuff. But anyway, as I said, I'm thrilled to be here with you. A lot of stuff to talk about today, and we've got some of it from Kevin Kerrigan of the Guam Daily Post, and he was there at the legislature countless hours yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, countless hours waiting for them to begin the dog and pony press conference, which ends with them joining the governor's call for a pause in the buildup of the construction over at the range and all of that stuff, because Tree, when exposed to the idea that this could be of significant economic impact, they said, well, that's justifiable. It's okay if there's a pause, and it's the military that's pausing it, then the economic impact will happen to them. And as far as economic impact, if it's bad, it's justifiable because we're protecting our culture. You know, I guess my point here is that we must be doing really well around here. We just must have money hanging from the trees, dollar bills that you can just reach, $100 bills that you can just reach up and grab and spend on whatever it is that you want around here. We don't have anybody on food stamps. We don't have anybody on any kind of public assistance. We don't have people breaking into houses and cars and home invasions trying to steal what you've got, because everything is just roses around here.
In light of this significant event, I feel it necessary to play my tree sound effect.
We have a tree sound effect. Okay, go.
Here it is.
Best one yet.
It is. It's
best
great.
one yet.
Nice. That was actually the sound of the tree growing.
There's more on that. The other voice, that's Michael Knight. He's our weather whisperer, our Duke Sky talker, as it were, and he's the guy that keeps an eye on the radars and the satellite maps to let me know what the weather is going to be like. We do that for, we got the daily forecast. I just tell you how it works in my head, what the organization is like in my. We have the daily forecast, which will give you an idea of which parts of the day are going to be the windiest and which part of the day is going to be the hottest and all of the stuff that you're used to. But we use the radar because radar will give us an indication of what's moving in to our area right now. What's happening, and there's nothing more important than right now. That's why we call it right now traffic, and there's right now weather, and all of that stuff. So anyway, we got him laying around over there, and then we've got a broad swath of the entire Guam community tuned in every single morning on Facebook Live.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Drink coffee, don't drink coffee, drink coffee. No, I'm just going to drink this coffee here for you. Oh, just hold on a second. Don't ding the music down all the way because I'm going to swig. There's going to be swiggage.
Where everybody knows your name.
Or swidging. I'm not sure what the correct pronunciation is for that particular word here. Just like making stuff up. Anyway, 6:21 in the morning, and Ismael is back in the lead here. He's #1 commentator on the Facebook Live. Must be his birthday. He's got birthday cakes up there, followed by Al Batista, Nate Horn. Mark Mendiola is up and on. John Ray Taitanum, Nita Mofnis with the pretty Valentine's eyes. I got Mark Cruz waving at me this morning. Tony and Danette and Pinko Ada, Pat and Norma Jean Flores, and John Barcinas. St. Nicholas rounding out the top 10, but he also got Tom Tahaji right behind him, and Rico Blancafor. Says, good morning, Ray, Kevin, Michael, and everybody on Guam who's doing great. Don't worry about any economic impact of anything having to do with billions of dollars worth of construction coming to a grinding halt because the legislature thinks they know better than anybody else. Sorry, too much editorializing so early. I got Lawrence El Cairo, Nick Perlowski would have been here earlier, but the pressure, can't take it anymore. Ismail says, the last time a tree was this important, the Maga Haga got us kicked out of Eden. Good morning, Lillian Cruz and Doris Mendiola. Ken LG's online as usual. I got John Rages saying, buenos. Valerie Lynn Maigi is online. I have an email from her. And at some point, we might actually speak with her or somebody else because there's all kinds of stuff going on the 4th of July. We got a couple of holidays coming at us in July, obviously, with the Liberation festivities. Oh, and the heartwarming story. I got to tell you about a Liberation story, but it's not from Guam. More on that in a couple of minutes. Joanna Renee is online with us this morning. Yoich Rengil, Ungil Tutao. Nice to see you again online. I was thinking about you yesterday, Yoich. I got my hands on a mango, and it was one of these kind of deep yellow unspotted mangoes. The one where you can, it feels like you're slicing it right down the middle of the mango and you still don't hit a seed because they're that thin, wafer thin. Anyway, so I got my hands on this mango and did the husking of the mango. The seed, usually there's the seed that you get when you're done eating the mango, it's really a purse. The real seed is inside that. So you can husk that, take the little seedlet out of it and stick it in dirt, and usually within a couple of days, something will sprout. So I was doing that, yes, and so Yoich and I, Yoich has got this tree, and he doesn't have to worry about the size of the seed inside of the mango because the mangoes on his tree literally are as big as a football. These are massive, massive things. Biggest ones I've ever seen. And hard to describe without using my hands, kind of like Dolly Parton. But she's got these massive mangoes, and it was a quest of ours to husk as many seeds as possible, get them into as many containers as possible, and share them among friends so that they could grow these trees with these big Dolly Parton-sized mangoes. Right? And I don't know what happened to the ones that I released out in the community. I think I've got one growing up at the firing range, and I'd like the military to stop the construction up there because I want to protect my big mango tree that's growing. Do you have a sound effect? What were you reaching for? What were you reaching for? Tell me the one that was in your head.
I don't have a sound effect for desperation.
Bert Duarte is there. Lynn Vince, Borja Polino. I got Viv Cunningham. Great time, Viv. Bert and Cheryl Ochai. Pam Duval is online. Good to see you. Oh, Pam sent me. I didn't put it up. I will in a second. As I said, Greg Karabrock's there. Mark, Leah Beth Nahalawa. John Brennan says, good morning. Oahu, Hawaii, where it's raining. That's where it's raining today. Eric McKinnon is online. I got Randy Kruger, John Torres, watering the trees this morning, he says, Eric. Johnny says, morning, Rayman and crew. Daryl Taggarty's up and online early this morning. Pam says, Ish, as in Ishmael, tried to distract me, an old lady. Shame on him. What, did he send you pictures? Of what? His big mangoes? What are we talking about here? I'm sorry. It's turn on Tuesday. Don't try to read anything into that. Really, I was looking for a couple of words that would work with the word Tuesday, because that is today. For those of you that are keeping track, I actually had to remind somebody yesterday. We're sitting around, and she kind of looks at me and says, "What day is today, sweetheart? It's Monday." Yeah, I mean, you get to a point, I suppose, at some point in your life where all of the days just kind of run together, and it's hard to make a distinction even from weekend to weekday on where we are.
I mean, that'll happen on a Wednesday or Thursday, but Monday it has a significant feel to it, you know.
Bob Agage says, hi from Seattle, Washington. Way to go, home of the Seahawks.
I bet it's raining there, too.
You know, I think that's largely myth, because I've spent time in Washington State, and I think over summers and things like that and other trips, and I'm almost positive that I've only ever been in Washington rain once.
Yeah. And it's interesting you bring up summer, because summer's actually the best season in the Pacific Northwest. Stayed in Coos Bay the summer of '96. It rarely rained, and the mornings were great and cool. It was really nice right there along the coast. But yeah, the winters are a little nasty.
Yeah, pretty spot there, and it's one of those things. Look, Rob's at Chamorro. He knows how to get out of the rain. We've got that instinct. We know what's going on. So 6:27 in the morning, and there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Are you wondering? Those are the people on Facebook Live, by the way, and you're welcome to chime in. And do me a favor, there's a share button on whatever screen it is that you're using to watch on Facebook Live. Share this program with your friends and family around the nation, around the world, and say hello and let them know that this is the way we do things here on Guam. 888-8255 is the telephone number. If you want to get close to me that way, you can use an actual phone, and then Mike will get it, and then he will put you on hold, and seconds later, I can get you on the air, and whatever it is that you want to talk about, I'd be happy to. There's usually a bouquet of topics, and we've got more than one or two today, and more than one or two that are left over from the week that I wasn't here. Topics that I took the time to write down. So it might still be some traction on some of those older stories. Obviously, the big ones here that we're going to be talking about today, and the juxtaposition is striking on the front page of the Guam Daily Post, where they talk about economic fallout justifiable because life is just so good here on Guam. Everybody's got it made in the shade. Hardly anybody has to work 2 or 3 jobs just to get by, what with the cost of living going up, because the 34th Guam legislature and the 35th Guam legislature have seen it upon themselves to raise taxes on everybody. But notwithstanding that, any economic impact is going to be justifiable in the name of the culture as they see it over at the legislature. So the gist of this is they heard about a tree off in the distance, lonely tree in the construction field.
The tree, it was 9 recently discovered sites up there. That's what prompted this. But the tree is secondary.
The tree is secondary. It's not the first thing?
No.
But it's now the artifacts that they are discovering up there, it's not like they discover them and then bulldoze over everything, right?
No.
What's the process when they discover?
I don't know the precise process, but it's defined by the programmatic agreement, and Joint Region Marianas has followed the programmatic agreement.
So
cordoned off the area, fenced it, and stopped construction in the immediate area where these finds have been discovered.
And make a determination on whether we're going to do on-site preservation. But in most cases, we're talking about, hey, we found a shard of something. And so we pick up the shard, and we're going to make sure it's cataloged, make sure that it's preserved. We know the location, we know how deep into the dirt it was, all this stuff, and then they'll put it away, and then later on we'll build a repository where all of these things can be stored and curated and maintained for perpetuity, and all the it is there is this process that they go through for every single find that they have. Now, as far as the tree is concerned, there was some hubbub about the tree. And as you say, maybe it is a secondary issue. You should probably move down the list in terms of issues with the understanding that, number one, this tree that you guys have just heard about has been on the radar, and they've been taking care of it since the last century. Since 1998, they've said, hey, we've got the last of its kind up in the north, and we need to preserve it. And they went up there, and they said, let's get some seedlings, and let's find ways that we can preserve this mother tree trees die. Don't they? You recognize the fact that eventually, a tree is going to die in the forest. I got to laugh. I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the people here that just lose my mind every once in a while when, especially in the downtown Agutnia area. I riffed a little bit on this yesterday, but there are a bunch of trees down in Agutnia, and you won't remember them. Because they have been chainsawed and uprooted over the years. These are trees that my guess is that they existed in the downtown Agutnia area 75 years ago when they were liberating Guam. These were probably just little tiny trees, and they grew up to be big, massive trees. And I'm not hearing a whole lot of conservationists bemoaning the death of these trees that have been cut down over the years in the downtown Agutnia area. As near as I can tell, I'm probably the only guy that's ever done it. So it's laughable to me that all of a sudden there's a hubbub that is being made about these trees here, and they want to take a pause and do this DNA test. And in the article that Oil wrote in the Guam Daily Post today, they find an expert, guy named McConnell, who says, I don't know what the big issue is about the DNA study. It's the same species as the one at Rhoda, and they apparently grow very, very well up in the Rhoda area.
I'm guessing it's the same species that grows prolifically in the Philippines.
It could be. He says it's the same species. All the remaining plants have some differences in the genetics, just like all plants and animals. The genetic variation is what you'll find in a normal population of any species. So you got all of that's going on. We got 13 people over at the legislature joining with the governor on all of this. And any economic impact, well, that's somebody else's problem. That's not theirs. Anyway, 6:32 in the morning. Odessa, Manly, Ekfadzi, Palacios online. Tomas, Tenorio, Bernardo. I like it when everybody uses all of their names. It's like you're running for office there, Tommy. Tommy Bernardo is online. Roy Gamboa, Hafa Commissioner. Adonis Quito Mendiola, not his real middle name, by the way. Cousin Tommy Barcinas is there, and Anthony Regis, and Richard Leon, and Marquez McManus. Hafa Dades and Buen Pebetsu Ray. How about?
Yeah, whenever I run for office, it's going to be Michael Weather Whisperer.
Right?
Yeah.
Charlie Laron is online. Daryl Taggarty. See, Daryl's thinking along with me. This is the military would stop for Dolly Parton-sized mangoes any Tuesday. That's a fact, isn't it? So, look, it's 6:33 in the morning, and I think we're off to a rollicking start. Love to get your input. Like I said, 888-825-5888-TALK, or WhatsApp me at 988-5874. Delightful WhatsApp image from Pam's backyard coming up in a second. Right now, we got to take a break for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning: United Airlines Flight 155 made an emergency landing at the A.B. Wanpat International Airport yesterday morning. Airport Marketing Administrator Rolinda Fasuamalie said the flight left Guam at 8:12 a.m., a little more than an hour into the flight. The pilot advised the plane's stall indicator light had come on, and the flight would be returning to Guam. Fasuamalie said that the airport initiated an Alert 2, which means aircraft rescue and firefighting services were placed on standby for an emergency landing. The Boeing 737 landed safely shortly after 10 a.m. Fasuamalie said it was a very smooth landing. There were no injuries. A release from United Corporate Communications states that as a precaution, the crew declared an emergency. The statement described the problem as a mechanical issue and said the maintenance team is currently inspecting the aircraft. United will operate a special flight to Chuuk this morning for the passengers on that flight yesterday. The Guam Brewery Corporation is seeking a qualifying certificate with the Guam Economic Development Authority that would reduce the amount of its future tax payments. The company filed its application on June 18th. The brewery business will be operating a brewery facility for the manufacture and commercial sale of craft beer. The total amount of investment in the project is about $900,000. Guam Brewery is asking for a 75% rebate on corporate income taxes for 20 years and an abatement of 100% of the business privilege tax on gross receipts derived from the sale of alcoholic beverages. Among the shareholders of the Guam Brewery seeking the QC are Jazzbee Incorporated, Jeff and Tracy Voacolo, Jay Merrill, Caesar Cabot, George Bello, Prudencio Miguel Jr., and Michael Converse. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio is in New York City this week attending the World Pride celebration, the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, and the 2019 World Human Rights Conference, where he's been invited to speak as a featured panelist. According to a release from the governor's office yesterday, Tenorio is the highest-ranking elected official to be featured at the World Human Rights Conference. The news release described Tenorio as the first openly gay lieutenant governor in the country. Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, in a statement, said he's grateful to be a part of the conference and bring attention to the plight of those in the LGBT community. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Thanks, Kev. 6:36 in the morning, and that's iConnect time. Run by iConnect and learn about some great plans they can put together for you. Help saves you some money on your mobile and internet plans with iConnect.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
That's funny. I got a note here from my friend Maka. Said she lived in Seattle for 10 years. Sunny, 1.5 months of the year. So those must have been the months that I lived there. All the rest of the time, it's raining like the dickens. Anyway, 6:37 in the morning. I'm supposed to tell you about Wendy's. They got a made-to-crave menu there, and you're going to love it because it's got all your favorites, including the peppercorn mushroom melt, barbecue cheeseburger with the sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, and the Sawsum Sauce bacon cheeseburger. Now, it's great for a lot of reasons. It's a cheeseburger, number one. They got this delicious Sawsum sauce that goes on it, and then everything is crowned with a dome of bacon. And the one that I had so much bacon, it was literally falling out of the burger. Made to crave, just the way you like it at Wendy's.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Miles sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Wait, don't traffic me yet. I don't have the gizmo online. Stand by one. Let me. It takes a second for the thing to get put together, and then I can start looking at where the traffic issues are, and there doesn't seem to be any right now. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, starting at Anderson Air Force Base, all the way into the downtown Tamuning area. And if you want to keep going into Agano, no problem. I don't see anything slowing you down there. Not a whole lot to slow you down on your way into Big Navy in Sumile, though. Watch out by Polaris Point. Some construction that's going on there on the shoulder, and a search for some unexploded ordnance that might pop up could slow you down on your way in. Northbound traffic, Marine Corps Drive, just in front of the Paseo, moving a little bit slower than it normally would around this time of day. 8, 10, and 16's in the clear. Route 15 looking pretty good. Route 10 looking good. Route 4 into town is great, and so is Route 8. But that's because it's only 20 to 7 right now, and the real traffic won't begin for probably another 45 minutes. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Discover a new galaxy. GTA introduces the new Samsung Galaxy S10 in 3 different different sizes. The Galaxy S10 comes with cool new features like Power Share that allows you the ability to share your battery power with other devices. Or you can capture a wider world with its new camera featuring an ultra-wide lens for when you need to take pictures of the whole family. And with GTA handset payment option, you can take home a Galaxy S10 for $0 down. GTA, we start with you.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
UXO, careful, you might find a tree or worse yet, a balloon. 20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. 888-8255-888-TALK. Online right now, picture from Pam's house with some interesting morning colors there. Michael can look at the pictures and explain why Pam up in Jigo got those interesting colors. I'm not, I don't have that kind of weather sophistication to be able to explain it myself.
Yeah, it just has to do with the mechanics of light refraction, and it's a really nice picture. I caught something similar. I caught it on the other side, though. Of course, she's on the east side. She's shooting west, got the sun at her back, so she's getting some of that pinkage lit up in the clouds. And from our side of it, that's what it looked like. Yeah, so it was actually a very colorful sunrise this morning.
Got to wake up a little bit earlier for the sunrises because before 6 o'clock is when the sun is breaking the plane. You might get some gray line around 5:30, but certainly worth it. People that know what it is that they're looking for, and one of the spectacular reasons to wake up early as the sunset are runners and people that are doing some kind of physical activity early in the morning. That's the payoff right there. Right there is the payoff for waking up early, getting out of bed, and hitting the road if that's what you're up to. 6:41 in the morning. Again, 888-825-5888-TALK. Got cool pictures you want to send? Hit them up on the WhatsApp 988-5874 988-5874. And the reason why I'm asking for people to send me pictures of sunrises and sunsets and things like that is not so much because I'm a sunrise sunset collector. It's not that. Much as I just want you to have an excuse to send me something on the WhatsApp, if for no other reason, so that when you do have something incredible, like some viral footage of somebody doing something wrong or getting tased by the police or something like that, then you can send that over. You can send that over to a WhatsApp contact that you've already made. 988-5874 if you want to stick that in there and just put The Point WhatsApp. 6:42, and where do we get to go this morning? Well, I don't know. I could sit around probably for the rest of the show, give the legislature and the governor a hard time about completely missing the ball on what is important around here, and it doesn't have anything to do with the rocks and the trees up at the construction site as much as it has to do with the fact that people are having a hard time around here. And taking their problems literally into the streets. Story about a guy got so many drug problems that he couldn't pay his bill at the Cracked Egg. They called the police and did a search on him and found drugs. Story here, pills in his pocket. He was found there after not paying his bill at Cracked Egg. According to a magistrate's report, Trevin Gonzalez, 19, charged with possession of a controlled substance as a third-degree felony. After completing his meal, Gonzalez told his server he didn't have money to pay the bill. So they did what any other business would do, called the Popo. Police department officer asked Gonzalez to remove the items in his pockets before he was transported to a police precinct, which revealed 6 pink pill capsules, according to court document, and the pills tested positive for amphetamines. He informed the officers he did not have a prescription, according to the court documents. Look, I just put these pills together because, I don't know, we had this the Electronica Music Festival coming up, and I wanted to be all ready for it. So he got some chow into his system, couldn't pay for it, and there's the tough ones. Another crime story that I thought was interesting. I might share it with you. I had the documentation on me yesterday for the story, but I didn't have time to read up on it on the air. High-speed chase ends with a man that had 8 open cases waiting. That's why he was running from the law, because he already had 8 open cases on him. What the? Times are good, though. Don't worry about any economic impact, because we're going to be all right. Everything is justified over here at the legislature, where Guam is doing great economically, and we're safe from predators and criminals and home invaders. that I exaggerate about on a regular basis. Anyway, a couple of other stories. But I wanted to share this one here in particular because it's heartwarming, solid Guam connection. I've told you 1,000 times that I've got these Google alerts. So anytime that there's a story about Guam that shows up either in Guam Press, you know, we get the Post, we get the PDN, KUAM, PNC stories, etc. I get an alert that says, here's the Guam stories. And I found one that comes in from, I don't even know, in Minnesota, amazing Minnesota. 94-year-old Richfield World War II veteran wants to return to Guam, but needs your help. That's the headline on the story here. And like any good television station, they've got some video that I can play that tells you the story of this World War II vet and how it is that he's wants to find his way back to Guam, but kind of having a hard time. Buffering, playing. It's going to be a GTA commercial.
For Jerry, Joel, and Jason Slomkowski of Raymond Auto Body in St. Paul, family means business. The 4-generation family-owned business is a local favorite and a draw for auto service and insurance companies across the Midwest.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen. Apparently, they do pre-roll commercials, too.
Successful relationships along the way, like with North American Banking Company. North American Banking Company helped drive their expansion and helped set up the next generation for their turn behind the wheel. North American Banking Company.
Wow, he sounds so Midwestern.
Experience.
Right?
It has been nearly 75 years now since a local World War II veteran has been back to Guam, where he spent several weeks before being shipped out to Japan during the war. Now, for a special remembrance to surviving veterans, his family is trying to get the 94-year-old there before it's too late. Fox 9's Christina Palladino sat down with him today about his special bucket list adventure he's trying to cross off next month. Christina?
Well, that's right. He's 94 years young, but says he wants to make this trip before it's too late. An opportunity to be honored alongside his family and fellow veterans who are still alive and well.
6 rough days at sea.
Gordy Rosengren kept a detailed journal of his time serving in the Navy during World War II.
And from there on, we went on to Guam.
He still remembers what it was like to arrive in Guam in 1945 as a young man about to go off to war.
When I was there during the war, it was all military, completely military, you know.
Recently, the 94-year-old was invited by the local government to take part in Guam's 75th Liberation Remembrance events next month. His family was under the impression the local tourism industry would pay for the majority of costs to get Gordy there, but that's no longer the case. So his daughter decided to create a GoFundMe page to help.
I think it's going to mean a lot to him, and the way that they are responding to the World War II vets and trying to do some accommodations and kind of honor them too. I think it's going to mean a lot to him. So it makes me feel good that I'm able to be a part of that. What's the first thing you want to do when we get to Guam?
Look around and see what solid ground I'm standing on.
Yeah.
Debbie will have to help her father get through all the logistics of the multiple flights from Minnesota to Guam. But as an added bonus, Gordy gets to see his great-grandchildren who actually live in Guam. And with the help of the community, he's looking forward to a trip of a lifetime and to possibly reconnect with fellow soldiers who served alongside him.
You know, you might look at him 2-3 times before you really figure out who that is.
Now, the ceremony is on July 21st. Gordy and his daughter will be there for at least 2 weeks since it's such a long trip to make. If you would like to help support his mission, we have linked the GoFundMe to our website, fox9.com. Randy?
I'll get that link. Did you hear the part that was most fascinating to me of many different parts in that story that I think that are fascinating and actually kind of heartwarming is the idea his great-grandchildren actually live here on Guam, where friends, somebody's this Guam, we're all connected one way, 1 or 2 WhatsApps away from somebody, but where are the Rosengren kids on Guam? Where are the great-grandchildren and their parents living on Guam? on a base maybe somewhere? Is it possible? Multiple generations of service in the country, and maybe they're on base. Rosengren is the family name that I'm looking for. Hook me up with them, would you? 888-8255 is my telephone number if you are a Rosengren fan and know where we can find this guy. And like I said, there's a GoFundMe, and if you are already on a GoFundMe site or if you're close to a computer, look this up, GoFundMe.com, obviously, and then just search for WW2 Vet Liberation Day Help. WW2 Vet Liberation Day Help, and that will get you to him. They showed up on the screen at the time of the stories airing in the States. They'd only had about $695. Now, my guess is it cost more than $695 to go from Minnesota to Guam. I don't even know if you can get into the airport for that kind of money.
Maybe our contacts at United could help these folks out with some airline miles.
Possible that they could.
Maybe GVB could fund a ticket for him to bring him out here for the liberation.
Well, that was kind of a point in the story.
I sent that link to Josh yesterday.
Recently, the 94-year-old was invited by the local government to take part in Guam's 75th Liberation Remembrance events next month. His family was under the impression the local tourism industry would pay for the majority of costs to get him there, but that's no longer the case.
See, that's what happens when you get invited to somewhere. They expect that you're inviting me.
You're inviting me. Are you also giving me a ticket to go? What do people on Facebook Live got to say about that? I'm sure there's one or two comments that will put a smile upon my face here. Wow, kind of embarrassing, says Neats. We are inviting you. Just pay your way. See, anybody hook this guy up with some mileage, somebody. For heaven's sakes, GVB should sponsor him. Come on, Pilar. He would be an awesome guest.
The other thing I was thinking is he'll fly in, he'll get off the plane, he'll look around and go, oh, no, it's the wrong island, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, there is that. The guy's talking about being on Guam shortly after the liberation of the island and saying, yeah, it's completely military. And he's right. If you look in the history books of Guam, there was a significant military, about hundreds of thousands of people that lived here on Guam, and military and civil persuasion. And there's been a whole lot of changes on Guam since 1941, 1942. Can you imagine? First of all, there was no major downtown Agutnia area like we've got now. I mean, everything is bombed and bulldozed. They've flattened the place out. And
there were no malls,
and made the Paseo out of it. I think. Yeah. No, we didn't have the Micronesia Mall or GPO or the Hulali Shopping Center.
As a matter of fact, when he was last year on Guam, we didn't even have an actual airport.
I think it was. Yeah, I think everybody came in over at the field down there by Navy. But think about the Guam's at the time 2-lane road that the Marines made from down there all the way up to the north end of town. Unrecognizable, I think, to that 94-year-old when he makes his way here. But what a great opportunity for him and his family to come out here. I got a note here. Hey, Ray Gibson, I'm inviting you to my party. Just bring the food. Right on. Doesn't he qualify for a military hop? I don't know how long he was in service. I don't know that he's got any of the vet stripes that he needs to be able to get on a MAC flight out to Guam. Eunice Mendiola's online, et cetera, and who else is playing around? Neats, Bob Lizama, Dave Torrey, Carlos Camacho, Ray Shinahara online this morning. Nice to see you there, cuz. Kate Baltazar Dodge is on. You've been busy with some grief counseling stuff. Maybe we ought to talk about that one of these days on the actual radio. Terrence Uggan and others are online this morning, and how much fun is all of that. So GoFundMe page for the guy, WW2 Vet Liberation Day Help, because we're apparently up on inviting old people to come to Guam for our liberation festivities, but don't have any money with which to fund their tickets in the 75th Liberation. You would have think that somebody would have thought about that and socked a couple of bucks aside a few years ago for something along those lines. I'd have to check with a couple of guys that are old enough to remember how they did it 25 years ago. I remember the 50th observation of the liberation of Guam, as I said, 25 years ago, and it was a huge deal back in those days. And obviously, there were a lot more World War II survivors, local and liberators, and there was a massive. I mean, literally, you couldn't go anywhere without you couldn't go down to Tumon, you couldn't get a hotel, you couldn't go into a shopping area without running into one of these liberators because they were all still up and around and mobile. They weren't that old at the time. And so it's obviously changed out a whole lot. Fewer and fewer of them are able to make it out here. At any rate, other things, didn't they splurge in the 50th? Yeah, they did splurge in the 50th is the point. Richard Leone asking this question. Guam Brewery asking for 20-year tax reduction. Are you kidding? Does it take them that long? Does it take that long if your business makes profits? Maybe you just need a true product and management. Just dating. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Richard, but I think I understand. I thought it was kind of curious. I clipped it out yesterday and didn't have a chance to talk about it, but it was on the table of contents yesterday. If for no other reason, the novelty of it. Generally, you think about qualifying certificates and you think about hotel. Or you think about Guam Regional Medical City, or you might think about insurance companies. A lot of insurance companies have QCs. You might also think of Eddie Calvo, who wasn't that long ago, that put a moratorium on the issuing of qualifying certificates. But according to the Guam Economic Development Authority, in an ad that they had in the newspaper yesterday, there is a request for a notice of application for a qualifying certificate from the Guam Brewery Corporation. And that one is the new place down in Tumon that I had a chance to go to. And, as far as, and I'll suggest that there might be a little bit of bias here in favor of them getting the qualifying certificate because I like beer. And I like the people that they've got down there, and I like the service that they've got down there. And I really love great beer, but I really like the food there. They got a local kid that runs the kitchen there, and he has taken some of our favorite foodstuffs, comfort food here on Guam, reimagine them and repackage them. Now, I don't have the menu in front of me, but I've been there on more than a couple of occasions and already know what my favorites are on the menu. So you might want to think about going down there and charging into it. I'll also suggest that I've got a built-in bias because some of the people that are shareholders in this company are among my favorite friends and business associates. The Voacolas, Jay Merrill's down there, Caesar and Maffei, Cabot, etc. are also I think folks that I would walk across the room to shake the hands of. So I'm kind of delighted that they're looking at an opportunity for them to continue to do some great local business and maybe a head start into a craft beer brewing opportunity here on Guam. Do you realize how much of that is taking place around? It was once upon a time that there were two kinds of beer on Guam, Bud and Light, and that was all you needed to throw a party. But anymore, you go to some places and you got just the entire wall is all kinds of different beers, all kinds of different flavors that generally come from someplace else. But there's no reason why we could not, here on Guam, have our own kind of Guam brews. Isn't it amazing that the beer that is branded Guam beer isn't made here on Guam? Some of you might be going, what? Really? Yeah, they don't make that here. The label it says Guam is slapped on that, and it's made someplace else. It's a delightful beer, and I'll drink it if it's free. But it's not from around here. But we've got some guys that are got warehouses where they've begun the process of brewing beer. There's a new place going to be opening up in Agana before too much longer, the Carabao Brewing Company, and my understanding is they've sunk a lot of money into their operation as well. Wouldn't surprise me if they found a way to go before the Guam Economic Development Authority and ask for a qualifying certificate on that one there. Listen, I don't have a problem with that. You bring money into the community. And you give somebody jobs, and you're supporting other businesses with the work that you're doing. I think that would tend to spread around. So I don't necessarily have a problem with these guys asking for any kind of qualifying certificate. Your mileage may vary. But based on the way the government of Guam is spending some money, we need all the additional businesses that we can get here on Guam, and we've got to make a pitch for businesses here on Guam to be successful in their businesses. Note that there is another story that made its way to my inbox this morning. Black Construction Corporation has been awarded a $122 million wastewater treatment plant project here on Guam. Huh? $122 million worth of a wastewater project. That ain't bad, not bad at all. This is the one that would upgrade the North Wastewater Treatment Plant in the village of Dededo. Now, I got to get Cy, if I can, on the line on this particular story, because it seems to me this might be $122 million worth of northern wastewater treatment that is obviously going to be a benefit to the people that live up in the north end of Guam, but I don't know that it would have been possible without the involvement of the federal government of the United States, the Department of the Military, and the Pentagon. That's why we'll see what I can get from Cy or somebody over in the CCU on this. But congrats to Black Construction, got the lead on a $122 million construction project here on Guam. Not bad. Not bad at all. It is 7 o'clock in the morning and managed to kill the first hour of the program. Plenty more on the way, so stick around for it. Fox News Live is coming up next, and then Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all the big stories. Jerry Roberts, you get him twice today, once on the radio in the Extra Point, and again in the Guam Daily Post, because he writes a column there called The Work Zone. Getting Fired, Part 2. Wow, an extension of the pain for 2 weeks' worth of editorials. Not bad, Jer. Stand by for all of that. That's ahead on KUSG, Hagutnya.
Pressure on Tehran. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Trump today imposing sanctions focused on Iran's leaders, continuing pressure on the country to end its nuclear weapons development programs and to stop supporting militant groups.
Who knows what's going to happen? I can only tell you we cannot ever let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And it won't happen.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is in the United Arab Emirates after meeting in Saudi Arabia aimed at discussing how to build a global coalition to counter Iran. Pompeo tweeting he had met with Saudi King Salman to discuss the heightened tensions in the Persian Gulf and concerns over protecting maritime security. President Trump signing an executive order this afternoon he says will help keep health care costs down.
For too long, it's been virtually impossible for Americans to know the real price and quality of health care services and the services they receive.
The measure calls on hospitals to disclose the actual prices charged for common tests and procedures. It will also require patients be told beforehand about deductibles and copays. The driver of a pickup truck involved in a deadly New Hampshire crash has been arrested.
Volodymyr Zukovsky was taken into custody in Springfield, Massachusetts, where he lives. The New Hampshire Attorney General says he faces 7 counts of negligent homicide. The Massachusetts State Police says he also faces a narcotics charge after drugs were found at his home, as well as a count of being a fugitive from justice. The truck hit a total of 10 motorcyclists, all members of a motorcycle club for Marines and their spouses.
Fox's Gernal Scott. 4 people, including 3 children, were found dead in South Texas near the border with Mexico yesterday. Officials say they likely died of dehydration and heat exposure after crossing the Rio Grande into the U.S. Authorities say the bodies were those of a woman in her early 20s, a toddler, and 2 infants. This is Fox News.
So what's the deal? Are you still paying for the right to have your checking account at your bank? Well, at Bank Pacific, we think it's our privilege, not our right. That's why we offer My Green Free Checking, where your monthly maintenance checking fees are 0. That's 0. And it comes with a free Visa check card and monthly green e-statements. My Green Free Checking. Bank Pacific today. Because having you as our customer, that's our privilege.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Viva Bank Pacific.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
A former University of Illinois doctoral student convicted today in the slaying of a visiting scholar from China who was abducted at a bus stop 2 years ago. The guilty verdict was expected because Brent Christensen's attorneys acknowledged from the start that he raped and stabbed Yingying Zhang. Prosecutors say he beat her to death with a baseball bat and decapitated her. A Missouri police officer was shot and killed in the line of duty over the weekend. A suspect is now in custody.
North St. Louis County officer Michael Langsdorf, the latest. He died Sunday after he was shot by someone trying to cash a bad check. This is from the St. Louis County PD. They tweeted, "Our hearts are broken for our municipal partners and the death of Officer Langsdorf of the North County Police Cooperative. We share your pain. Hashtag officer down. Hashtag never forgotten." And we are expecting a news conference from police in Missouri with more details surrounding Officer Langsdorf's death.
Fox's Aisha Hasney. Voting for the Emmy Awards ends today following accusations of vote rigging.
Some performers weren't able to cast ballots for primetime Emmys after the Television Academy uncovered a vote rigging plan. The Hollywood Reporter says it received an internal memo sent to a group that included actors but wasn't meant to be public. The plan called for voters to cast ballots for the same candidate, known as block voting, and considered by the Academy to be unfair. Nominations will be announced July 1st. The Emmys will be handed out September 22nd on Fox. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Well, for those of whom having a 7-Eleven nearby isn't convenient enough, the chain is launching a way for customers to order anything at its convenience stores and have it delivered to a public place, like a park or beach. And that includes Slurpees. More than 2,000 7-Eleven hotspots went into operation today. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 7 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. 13 of Guam's 15 senators have endorsed a resolution that calls on Governor Lulian Guerrero to ask the military to pause all construction on the live fire training range complex on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base. During a news conference at the Guam Congress building yesterday, Senator Therese Terlahi said she supports a pause to allow professionals to assess the findings at 9 recently discovered sites where artifacts have been found. Senator Sabina Perez says she supports the pause to reassess whether these recent discoveries should be preserved in place instead of removed for preservation. Senator Talina Nelson said she wants to send a message to the people of Guam to let them know lawmakers are not sleeping on issues that affect their heritage. None of the senators would say how long of a pause they sought, as long as it takes, said Senator Joseph San Augustine. If the economic impact is bad, said Senator Tello Taitigui, it's justifiable because we're protecting our culture, she said. Senators Mary Torres and James Moylan did not endorse the resolution. Senator Torres is off island and was not available for comment. Senator Moylan issued a statement saying it would be premature to pass a resolution seeking a temporary pause until we have the opportunity to hear from the Department of Defense. He pointed out that Construction has already been paused around the 9 recently discovered sites, and he recommended talking with military officials to learn more about their preservation efforts and then deciding whether a resolution to pause construction is necessary. Concerns have also been raised by the governor and some senators on what they thought to be the only surviving fire tree on Guam in the midst of the firing range construction. However, there are, in fact, at least 18 other surviving fire trees on island that are being preserved in the Guam National Wildlife Refuge at Ritidian. Following a meeting with senators Friday, Governor Lou Leon Guerrero agreed to ask the military for up to a 6-month pause in construction around that tree to allow for DNA testing to see if it could reproduce. However, refuge manager Tammy Summers told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that the refuge has already received funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to help keep the Cereanthes nelsoni trees from going extinct, and there are 18 now in preservation at the Ritidian Refuge. James McConnell, a professor of ornamental horticulture at UOG, says the mature fire tree that the governor and some senators are concerned about has been protected through a variety of efforts, primarily by the Department of Defense. A report by UOG's Agricultural Experiment Station states that efforts began at UOG as early as 1998 with the support of the Air Force and Guam's Department of Agriculture to collect seedlings from the fire tree and grow them at a protected UOG nursery and then transplant them to the Ritidian Refuge. We'll have more news after this.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. United Airlines Flight 155 made an emergency landing at the AB Wonpat International Airport yesterday morning. Airport Marketing Administrator Rolenda Fasu-Amalie said the flight left Guam at 8:12 a.m. A little more than an hour into the flight, the pilot advised that the plane's stall indicator light had come on and the flight would be returning to Guam. Fasu-Amalie said the airport initiated an Alert 2, which means aircraft rescue and firefighting services were placed on standby for an emergency landing. The Boeing 737 landed safely shortly after 10 a.m. Fasu-Amalie said it was a very smooth landing and there were no injuries. A release from United Corporate Communications states that as a precaution, the crew declared the emergency. The statement described the problem as a mechanical issue and said the maintenance team is currently inspecting the aircraft. United will operate a special flight to Chuuk this morning for those passengers on Flight 155 yesterday. Guam Brewery Corporation is seeking a qualifying certificate with the Guam Economic Development Authority that would reduce the amount of its future tax payments. The company filed its application on June 18th. Brewery business will be operating a brewery facility for the manufacture and commercial sale of craft beer. The total amount of investment is about $900,000. Guam Brewery is asking for a 75% rebate on corporate income taxes for 20 years and an abatement of 100% of the business privilege tax on gross receipts derived from the sale of alcoholic beverages manufactured on Guam. Among the shareholders of the Guam Brewery seeking the QC are Jazz B Incorporated, Jeff and Tracy Voacolo, Jay Merrill, Caesar Cabot, George Bello, Prudencio Miguel Jr., and Michael Converse. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
It says here, Kevin, that we're going to have partly cloudy skies with some isolated showers. Winds out of the east 10 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing 5 to 15 after sunset. Highs near 90 degrees and overnight lows of about 79 degrees. Virtually the same weather forecast as yesterday. Sunset tonight, 6:51. Sunrise in tomorrow morning should be about 5:55 if the almanac is all right. And Michael Knight now, their Duke Sky Talker, will take a look at the weather radar and give you an idea of what it's going to be like on the roads in the next half hour or so.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad out there. North side may see a few showers. Maybe some showers coming along on the south side, too. A little difficult to tell on the radar here, but there's just not much out there. Most of it down to the south and way off to the northwest. We're in the fizzle-out phase of the diurnal cycle for the overnight showers, so these will kind of, they'll go away for all intents and purposes. May get some more that'll fire up later. Looking at the satellite here, we got a lot going on, a lot of movement in the clouds, but basically the blobage down to the south will be passing very close to us as we head into the later parts of the week. That is 95W Invest down there. I'm not really expected to become anything significant. Could bring us some rain, although the Weather Service has backed off of that forecast just a bit since yesterday. So we'll have to see how it goes. Otherwise, just dry trade wind weather until Thursday or maybe Friday.
Well, all right, I got that. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. News and weather together here on The Point.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. GTA, we start with you.
It's 7:14 now, 7:15 in the morning, and portions of the Ray Gibson Show, as you know, brought to you by a variety of advertisers and people that you know, including my buddies over at Ruby Tuesdays. Now, I like the way they put this together, right? They got this menu here, and they got really good ribeye steaks there, and they have really good filet mignon medallions there. Or you're not into meat, maybe you want a salmon. If that's going to be your primary directive, is to go and get that kind of food over at Ruby Tuesdays. But the fun here is now they've got toppers that go onto your filet mignon or your ribeye or your salmon. Try a ribeye with coconut cream Denancy on it, right? Perfect union of sweet and heat. Homemade Denancy and coconut cream with tomatoes and green beans, just like Grandma makes. Or you can have these things topped with Loco Moco. I'll tell you more about that in the next hour of the program. Portions of the program also brought to you by APL, American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar, especially now. They got battery storage, 632-2613 for a free consultation. Of course, the folks over at Cars Plus waiting for you to go in and do a test drive on any number of automobiles that they have, but it's performance days, and they've got a whole bunch of Dodges that are on sale as well. Charger SXT and a Challenger GT. Try that out with a test drive today at Cars Plus.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show, 7:16 on Tuesday morning, right? We've already made that distinction. Today is Tuesday. It is not Monday. It is not Wednesday. Tuesday, not quite the middle of the week, but there's lots and lots to talk about. Some great stories that we've got just right there on the front page of the Guam Daily Post. Economic fallout is justifiable, according to at least one senator of the 35th Guam legislature. They've taken a good, hard, long look at things and think maybe it's a good time to talk to the military about a pause in the process, for some of the things that they're finding out in the field as they're doing the clearing and the construction out there, and concerns that they have over the last of the tree of life, the fire tree. I'm not going to bother trying to give you the scientific name. I think I'll leave that to the more seasoned journalists. But everybody's worried about this tree. But don't worry about it too much. As it turns out, but before this legislature existed, there were already people that were on it going back to 1998. They have been taking conservation measures on that particular tree and have many seedlings that they have propagated from that particular tree. So it's not the last of its kind. There's 18 more just like it. And if something happens to those, we'll just go up to Rhoda because that tree grows like the dickens up in Rhoda.
Oh.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Hi, Jer.
How you doing? Well, and look, the pause.
I'm excitable.
Okay. No problem with the pause. I mean, it's not like we haven't had a few pauses already, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, just one more.
But whatever the economic impact is,
I
it's
guess.
justifiable because we're doing so well here. I think everybody. There's nobody on any kind of assistance, nobody on food stamps, nobody living in Section 8 houses. The economy is just doing gangbusters around here, so we can afford a little bit of a delay, and it doesn't make any difference to them, no matter what. If there is an economic impact, and if it affects the government of Guam, they'll just raise the taxes on the rest of us.
Yeah.
Because they did that already. Yeah. With crapola, it's not Wednesday. Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. It's where America's Tuesdays begin.
What would happen
what's that?
If they stopped it for 6 months and the construction stopped? What would happen to all the workers that are there?
I know. I tell you right now about 3 or 4 guys that I know that would be off the dole for a while. They'd be they would have to be out from under. They'd have to find something else to do, obviously,
because the military wouldn't be paying
the
contractors
if we're not doing anything,
and then
no
the
work getting
contractors
done.
couldn't pay the workers, and then if the workers would have to maybe leave island and go do something else.
You remember there was a time where this government of Guam thought that we were doing so well with the Japanese tourists and the Japanese economy that when they started talking about BRAC closing down bases, hey, close hours here. We don't need a whole lot of military. We're doing all right. We got the tourism industry, and then the Asian economy hiccuped hard.
The bird flu.
Yeah, the bird flu, all of those kinds of things. And there was a time where all of a sudden it was all anybody could do to go back and say, yeah, we didn't really mean what we said about closing bases and shutting down operations, shutting down shops on Guam. We really could use the assistance. So you got to be real careful about where we've been. And that's a problem. Is you got guys like us that've got old memories of when things like this happened. When some of the people that are in the legislature were still in high school, right? So yeah it's like that. There is one good news story here. And I want to learn a little bit more about it. Black Construction Corporation, $122 million worth of Northern Wastewater Project. So congratulations on the bid. Now, this is a big deal in a lot of reasons because, it's black, number one. Number two, they need new wastewater treatment facilities up in the north, up in Dededo in particular, where everybody lives.
There's no trees involved here?
I don't believe that there is a tree involved with this Northern Wastewater Project. But the other reason is because it's Black Construction, and they go way out of their way to ensure that the majority of their employees are from here.
Oh, good.
So we're getting it'll be a lot of here guys getting some work done. So congratulations to Black Construction on the awarding of that particular project. 721. We'll take a look at what happened in the markets today, as they will say on the headlines. Mixed closings on the market. Dow Jones told you it was going to come up. Didn't come up very big, only 8 points. But green is green at 26,727. So they're doing all right there. Nasdaq at 8,005. S&P 500 closing at 2945. Both of those markets are down. The biggest down is the NASDAQ. They're off by 26 points, and I'll try to be breathless as I say all of that. Taking a look at the commodities here, I don't have the number for tapas. And usually on Tuesdays it's frozen anyway. But West Texas crude trading at $57.75. Those of you that are paying attention to that will recognize that as being an increase from where it was the other day. $57.43 yesterday, so $57.75 would be an increase for West Texas crude. I'll see if there are some new numbers on Tapas in a couple of minutes. But there's other stuff that I got to take care of. You wouldn't happen to have the Bitcoin number, do you? You got anything in front of you? Well, maybe we'll look that up while Jerry's doing the extra point. As I said earlier, you got Bitcoin? You got that right in front of you? You got a gizmo?
I have a gizmo. Hang on a second.
Right on. Jerry Roberts, you get him twice today. Once in the extra point on the radio here at 93.3 KUSG. And then the other time in the Guam Daily Post. He does a column there called The Work Zone. And The Work Zone today, the topic is a continuation of last week's topic, which was getting fired. and what to do if you find yourself getting fired. Go find a job over at the legislature, because everything is rosy over there. You got money, and there's no crime. Don't worry about anything, because we're the legislature. We'll sprinkle legislative fairy dust and make the problems go away. What you got?
10,939 as of right now.
Not bad, not bad.
That's
Down
up from yesterday.
Is it up from yesterday?
Yeah, I believe
okay.
so.
All right.
I'll have to check that.
Yeah, Rico. Is it Rico or Ray that's the Bitcoin guy on the Facebook Live? I can never remember between the two of them, and one of them may or may not be on island. I got Gwen, who is online this morning. Kenny Williams celebrating happy 30th wedding anniversary between him and his wife Karen. Kenny Williams, my favorite bug killer on Guam, and Kenny, it might be in the next couple of, not today because it's your anniversary. I don't want to get in the middle of all of that, but in the next week or so, I will have you come by because I was cockroached this morning. Ooh, that's frightening, right? No, I don't know if it's frightening. Got my attention. I stepped out of the shower and reached over yonder for the towel with which to towel myself dry, and as I'm looping the thing around me, I feel something kind of cockroaching on me. It was on me. The cockroach was on me, and it got me thinking about Kenny Williams at 4 o'clock in the morning, going, maybe it's time that he comes by here and does a little bit of cockroach spraying over in the house. So I got that. I got those big red ants that don't bite.
Oh yeah.
What are they, the soldier ants or something like that? But Kenny will know what it is, and he'll know what the kill stuff is. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting him over at the house. So we got the Bitcoin number in there. We said congratulations to Black Construction. Nothing else to do now but jump into Jerry Roberts and the Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and our friends over at First Hawaiian Bank.
In our course, CSI Guam, CSI stands for Customer Service Initiative, we have a segment that highlights the experiences of customers who encounter extraordinary effort on the part of individuals and teams, which results in a moment that is never forgotten and usually goes viral on social media. We'll talk about that coming up next on The Extra Point.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Miles sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Okay, today's Extra Point is not about exactly about these wonderful experiences, these extraordinary things that happen in companies. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago during the course of training, and the idea, they were talking about wowing the customer. Wowing the customer. That was the entire focus of their customer service. They had to go out of their way to wow the customer. And I began to think about that, and what came from that is today's Extra Point. Now, back to the original concept. Companies like Apple, Trader Joe's, Ritz-Carlton, Southwest Airlines, United Airlines, Nordstrom, and others all are featured in this course that we have for having employees go way out of their way to do something special for a customer. I'd love to hear those kinds of stories, and I'm sure that you feel the same way. The companies, for their part, like to highlight these feel-good events, and well, they should. It presents them in the best possible light, and the words of praise are coming from the best possible source, the customers themselves. So much customer service training focuses on trying to delight patrons of the business, to do these wow things, to do something special. And while I think it's fine if you can do that, in my opinion, it misses the mark on what we all should be thinking about, and that is doing the basics extremely well. When there is an issue, it's important that somebody take ownership of it and act in the interests of the customer. I'm not referring to making decisions on who gets a refund or credit of some kind. What I mean by acting in their interests is to make sure their call doesn't fall through the cracks. I want to make sure they don't get stuck in voicemail jail, or the person they need to talk with actually responds to them. The number one thing in the mind of most customers is that we show respect for their time. They want things to run smoothly. smoothly, and we don't make them jump through unnecessary hoops if at all possible. Customers genuinely appreciate when we fix things after getting it wrong. They do. That said, most who are surveyed say if service reps paid more attention and service systems weren't so confusing, a lot of problems could be avoided altogether. This gets us back to the basics. Everybody loves a fabulous service story, and I'll always feature a few in my customer service training because they are inspiring. Better yet, I'll continue to help organizations get out of their own way and to become the kind of service operation that customers love because they get the simple things right. Now, are you saying to yourself, Jerry, what on earth could possibly be more important than meeting and exceeding expectations of customers? Yeah, it's absolutely true. So, I get it. Meeting expectations means the customer should come back again, right? If we exceed their expectations, they'll be back again for sure. And it's likely they'll tell others about us as well. And isn't that what we're after? Trust me, I think it's wonderful when service is so good that people do spread the word. But let's always focus on getting the basics right. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good and basic happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
So let me see if I get this right. It's nice. It's a good thing when you can extra the customer, when you can extra your service, when you can extra the value of the commodity or whatever it is that you're providing to the customer. It's always nice to do it, but don't ignore the basic.
Don't ignore the basics. Get the basics down first, and then if you can layer on top of that some wonderful experiences when things go sideways, and you got to do a thing called what they call recovery, right? You want to do something special for somebody. That's terrific. Go out of your way. But if you're not handling the basics, like calls, they sit on hold for 5 or 10 minutes, or you send them off to service and nobody calls them back. I mean, these things go on all the time. If you're not handling your business done in that basic way, first of all, doesn't matter what you do.
It kind of reminds me of something that you see all the time is the instructor with the jar, and you got the big balls and the little tiny ones and all of that stuff. And the important thing is you get the big ones in there first, and then you can put all the little smaller details in there. Exactly. There's room for all of it, but you got to nail down the important stuff first. And that's a good extra point today. If you want to get a copy of it, GuamTraining.com.
It's already up there
on the World Wide Web, and you can get that. You can get a transcript of that. You can get a transcript all the way back to the very first extra point that we did a year or some ago. It's 7:30 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts and the Extra Point, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank. And it's time now for the headlines from the Guam Daily Post. That's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning. Jeffrey Limo, the former head of internal affairs at the Department of Corrections, has reached a plea deal with the government of Guam. Limo is among several former corrections officials charged in 2017 in connection with a contraband smuggling scheme at the prison. He was charged with conspiracy to promote major prison contraband, receiving bribes, and official misconduct. Superior Court Judge Anita Sicola yesterday said that she has received Limo's plea agreement. She got it on June 14th, she said, but details of the agreement have not yet been disclosed. Limo is among the last of 11 co-defendants to reach a settlement in the nearly 2-year-old case. 58-year-old Michael Ellard has returned to Guam to begin serving his 18-month sentence on criminal sexual conduct charges. The former UOG professor was found guilty of third-degree criminal sexual conduct in October 2017. He had been teaching in Hong Kong, awaiting the outcome of his appeal, which he recently lost. Last week, he registered as a Level 1 sex offender on the Guam Sex Offender website, and yesterday he surrendered to the Department of Corrections to begin serving his 18-month sentence. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio is in New York City this week attending the World Pride Celebration, the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, and the 2019 World Human Rights Conference, where he has been invited to speak as a featured panelist. According to a release from the governor's office, Tenorio is the highest-ranking elected official to be featured at the World Human Rights Conference. The news release described Tenorio as the first openly gay lieutenant governor in the country. Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, in a statement, said he is grateful to be part of the conference and bring attention to the plight of those in the LGBT community. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I see you 7:32 in the morning, and that is iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect and learn what you need to learn about getting yourself into some plans that aren't going to cost you an arm and a leg for internet and mobile. That's iConnect.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Cold Stone Creamery is the ultimate ice cream experience. I love those guys. Right? No, absolutely terrific bunch of people out there, and they're constantly thinking about you as well. So if you've got something big that is going on, let's say you're the boss of the shop over at Black Construction, and you're celebrating the award of $122 million wastewater treatment plant project, and then how are we going to celebrate? Well, send somebody over to Cold Stone and have them get some ice cream or an ice cream cake for you. They got one that's like they've festooned with Oreo cookies and all of that, and they've got another tall, dark, and tasty. Find that, would you, over at Cold Stone Creamery.
Your home is one of the most important investments you'll make in your life. At Nanbo Insurance, you can rest easy knowing that you're covered with reliable and affordable homeowners insurance. Nanbo makes it easy to protect what matters the most so you can enjoy the moments that matter the most. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
Oh, I got you. All right. It looks like I'm going to be doing the 8:30 headlines this morning. Kevin Kerrigan, our reporter, is going to be out covering some big deal. We'll learn more about that in a minute. North-southbound traffic, Marine Corps Drive, in and out of Gigo is not looking so bad this morning because I don't think any schools are open. You might see some traffic over at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 3, mostly traffic on 3 trying to get onto Marine Corps Drive. The intersections are working a little bit busier this morning than usual, so watch out for it. 8, 10, and 16. 16 and the roadway over by the 76, the Ocean Vista 76, a little bit busy in both directions through there as well. Up around the airport, you will see some traffic. Getting a little bit of northbound traffic rush up in front of Kmart and the area right in front of us over at DPW. But southbound traffic is kind of looking okay right now. Into the downtown Agutnia area on Marine Corps Drive, just before you hit the intersection of 1 and 8, is very, very busy right now, and we've got some slowing down on Route 4 into the downtown area. You will see traffic in front of Navy Hospital right now, as well as the entrance to Big Navy in Sumai. 7:35 right now, traffic here on The Point.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data to Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data to Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The 4th of July in this town is going to be crazy busy. If you have not yet made plans, then I would suggest you start working on that right now. There are going to be a couple of events. Number one here, I've got this from the folks that are in charge of publicity for the 75th Guam Liberation Committee. They've got the Star Spangled American celebration, which is going to be taking place 4th of July at the Liberation Carnival Grounds in Agutnia. 4 o'clock until 9, American muscle cars, domestic car, truck, and motorcycle show. Plus, we've got music by local bands with your favorite island jams and classic rock hits. Phoenix Stars from 7 to 8, 8 to 11, the Mount Carmel Band, and 9 o'clock, a fireworks show entitled Celebrating the American Dream from Show Pros Pyro. All right, now that's what's going to be taking place downtown Agutnia. Over at Polaris Point, there's going to be another one. The folks over at the MWR are putting this together. Las Vegas-based reggae band The Majority. John Dank show is going to be performed performing. Military ID or visitor's pass is not going to be required if you're over the age of 18. We do want you to have a valid Guam ID or U.S. passport in order to enter. And then Sunday, July 14th, the Liberation Day 5K Color Run at Radio Barragata. I'll get more details for you as it comes along. But as I said, wow, crazy busy 4th of July celebrations on the way. And I want to say around that weekend as well, I got to check with the guys from the running club, there's the Spirit of 76 6.7-mile run that usually starts across from McDonald's in Agania, and then we go up to Sinahanya, and then we go down past Uncle Ben's place, and then into the boondocks of Maina. No, it's not Maina. It's where is that? What's that called?
Run, Forrest, run!
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the name of that area down there. But anyway, so and then back is the deal. So you run out in the boondocks, it's almost a trail run, and then you come back in. It's a whole lot of fun, and I'm dying because I can't remember the name of that trail. It's along the play. Simon, you know where I'm talking about, right?
Just beware the white lady.
Hey. Come on, you're older than I am. Is there anything to that, Si?
You know, when it comes to Tautamonas, I question nothing.
There is that, I suppose. I wonder if they're running. I wonder if the Tautamonas have anything to say about this flap over at the legislature on the slowing down on the construction at the site up at where they're putting the firing range.
Well, I mean, some people believe they still do. It's a very difficult issue. I mean, we've been on Guam for 4,000 years, and I'm sure the current development has buried things from 4,000 years ago that were relevant then, and so the concern now is very valid about preserving our culture and heritage, and yet so much of preserving our culture and heritage is really done from within, right? I mean, we can go to a museum, we can read a book, but the things that we all talk about when we're supporting each other through difficult times, or when we're getting together for family gatherings, I mean, that's as much a part of our culture of living in this special place called Guam that you don't find in other places. So I always find people make the culture, and cultures are constantly evolving. I don't think, I like to use the example that the Guam of today isn't the same as 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago. The Italy of today is not the same as the Italy of 500 years ago or 1,000. I mean, cultures and people are constantly changing. New things are being brought in. Things that we didn't have 500 years ago affect how we think about our culture and heritage now and our language. So, I don't know how you stop humans from evolving. We're constantly evolving. Where do our children grow and benefit from Guam 100 years from now if we just say there shall be no more development ever, right? And how you make those trade-offs is very difficult, and we're not always going to have common agreement, and that's what we're seeing today.
I recall there was a time when we had decided that maybe there should not be any continued development in the downtown Tamuning area for a long time because we just didn't have the capacity and the utilities to deal with it.
Right, and that's a short-term issue about infrastructure, but the longer-term issue of where will Guam go and where will we be 100 years from now, and what kind of Guam do we want to be? The decisions we make today have an influence on that, we're seeing the debate right now in our doorstep, on our phones and on Facebook and on television, wherever you want to see it. We'll see how it plays out. The military has an agreement they seem to be honoring, but there's a lot of questions about it. I think there's a whole new bunch of leadership that wasn't here when we were negotiating 10 years ago the original agreements, and I think rightfully they want to take a look at it, and they want to make sure they're understanding it so that they can represent the interests as they see fit. But as you know, there's people on the other side saying, no, we're for the buildup. We need to continue it. There are some good things.
Well, and the point of this call is there is an immediate impact here that I was talking about Black Construction and this northern wastewater treatment plant, and you backed me up on Facebook Live on this because this is coming to the people of Guam, residents up in that part of the island that had to have their wastewater taken care of, and that's an expensive process. But generally, this is coming to us at no cost.
Yes, I mean, this is something that we worked on for over 10 years. The original buildup was going to be a much larger marine base. They were going to build their own power plant. They were going to build their own wastewater treatment plant. We said, that's ridiculous. And General Bice, I don't know if you remember him, he was the first honcho of the buildup. he sat us down. We sat down with Governor Camacho at the time. We sat down with the Japanese contingent and said, no, just help us build a brand new wastewater treatment plant up north. Anderson already uses it. The Marine base would use it. And most importantly, the people of Guam are using it. Right now, we can process somewhere between 6 and 8 million gallons a day of wastewater. That's actually what we produce every day on Guam. We, the people of Guam. This plant will handle 12 to 13 million gallons a day, more than enough for a small Marine base to be accommodated. But more importantly, growth in Guam, in northern Guam. And that's where the growth is occurring now, and that's where the growth is going to go. So this is actually a good week for the ratepayers in terms of protecting the environment. Not only are we announcing the award to Black Construction, which is a wonderful construction company because they are predominantly local hire. They use the fewest number of H-2s. They've been the longest employer of long-time construction workers. So you're going to see a lot of local residents benefit directly from being employed on this project. They won the bid. The feds, DOD is paying 100% for this. We were able to negotiate about $170 million worth of benefits. I used to tease the military, say, this is your system development charge for the impact you're going to create up north. And we got $170 million committed from them. 120 now will go into this plant. And the rest of the money is going to go into wastewater collection lines, sewer lines that are leaking, that we don't want to be leaking, and fixing that. And all of this is paid 100% by DOD. We would have had to pay for this ourselves. EPA was saying, when are you going to upgrade that plant? They then joined us as an ally and convinced DOD this is the best way you can help the people of Guam and protect the aquifer and protect our oceans by upgrading that plant. And that's what we ended up doing. And when Miguel Bradallo joined us 3.5 years ago, we were just getting the money out of Congress, but we had not sat down with EPA and DOD and started the hard work of figuring out how the money will flow, how it will be designed. But we did all of that, and Miguel led the charge for that. And he led the design team, he led the bid and the construction, and now we.
I think I ought to get a raise.
Well, you know, I mean, that's something we can talk about later. But it's exactly what I think ratepayers want from the CCU and its management. It wants us to progress, move better, protect our environment. And two things are happening. Not only are we announcing the Black Construction Award now, on Friday, we are opening the grand opening of the Agate Wastewater Treatment Plant, which actually has been online for over a year. It is the first large-scale secondary treatment plant ever built on Guam by Guamanians, by GWA. We used ratepayer money, about $70 million out of our rate increases of the last 15 years, is helping to protect the southern waters and provide the south with a wastewater treatment plant that complies with EPA. And now, today, we're announcing the northern wastewater treatment plant is being awarded to Black. It'll be a 2-3 year construction project, but we are now celebrating the fact that, 20 years ago, we had no wastewater treatment plants.
I remember when these were prospective conversations that you and I have. In the future, there will be this southern wastewater treatment plant. In the future, there will be a northern wastewater treatment plant that will be built and funded by the federal government of the United States. And it is all happening in the same week. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is $120 million. The debt service on it would have required maybe a 7-8% rate increase. We would have probably spent $200 million over 30 years. All of this is being saved by the fact that we convinced DOD to put up and pay for their impact up north and protect. And it was a win-win for all of us. It protects the aquifer, it protects the ocean, it upgrades our largest wastewater treatment plant for the largest part of our population. And it's happening at the same week that we are officially christening the Agate wastewater treatment plant. So we've come a long way in wastewater treatment plant. If you look at the original reason we were sued, it was for wastewater. And that was, 17 years ago. And we now have managed to build one. We're awarding the second one. And now we just have to worry about Agana. And when does that get handled and how do we pay for it? But right now, it's wonderful news for our ratepayers that DOD has honored their commitment to come up with the money to build a brand new wastewater treatment plant up north that will serve all of northern Guam and protect our aquifer and our ocean at no cost to Guam.
Now, who's administering this? Was this contract done through DOD or was it done by GWA?
No, it was done
by GWA.
That's the first thing we insisted upon. We said, look, this is our island, it's our plant, it's our responsibility to protect our environment, and this has to be awarded by us. We're not going to have DOD build a plant that services 80% of the local population, because the marine piece is a very small piece of the load up there. This is our plan and it's our obligation. And US EPA agreed with us. They said, no, you modernize that plant for all of Guam. We agree with GWA. DOD agreed, and we're announcing the next step in this nice story. We have just awarded a contract to a long-standing local construction company, and they're going to get ready. I think they're a busy group. They've got that live fire training project as well. So Black's got a lot on their plate.
Well, yeah, and plus whatever it is that they're doing in Diego Garcia that Joe Leasialongi keeps going off to. So there is quite a lot going on in their world for sure. Was something else I wanted to ask you about? It seems to me that everybody in the world knows that Korean Electric Power Corporation has got the award for the new power plant up by GRMC, but there has not been, that I know of, an official announcement yet from GPA.
Yeah, I think they sort of got ahead of the process. As you know, with government bids, even though you can announce award to a bidder, other bidders can protest, and you have to reserve that time. I think it's 10, 12 days. I think it's 10 days after they've been notified that they weren't awarded, that they can protest. So GPA didn't want to announce anything until it had cleared the protest period. I don't think we've cleared the period. The other bidders could protest. That would delay the award, and you'd have to resolve the protest. But I think that's the only reason GPA hesitated was we told the parties who was the preferred partner. You still have to negotiate a contract, and the other bidders are allowed to say, hey, I don't agree with the award. So GPA management is letting that process run its course to make sure there isn't a protest, and if there is a protest, they're going to have to deal with it.
Gotcha. Cy, it's always a delight talking with you. We'll do it again sometime soon.
Yes, welcome back.
You know what? I'm sorry, because Daryl had a question. I suggested I might be talking to you, so he had a question about a gravity. I'm gonna have to let me back up here and see if I can find exactly. Yeah, the gravity power.
Yeah, so we, in terms of the amount of capacity it can generate, it's actually rather small. And we need 180 megs up there, and we could have looked at it, but right now what we've decided to do for sure is to cool the plant. We're going to use the gray water from the wastewater treatment plant up north, which is one reason we put it. Another reason we put it up north is we can reduce drawing 3 million gallons a day out of the aquifer, which is what we do now to service the PD plant.
Yeah.
Right. And now we don't have, when we build that new plant, that's 3 MGD. We're not pulling out of the aquifer anymore. We're going to use gray water from the wastewater treatment plant. So that saves money for GPA ratepayers in terms of having to pay for water. And it protects the environment better because we're pulling less water out of the aquifer. I think the final piece is as we build it, we can take a look at when it finally goes down that hill from up above to Lover's Point down to where we send it out to the ocean.
Yeah.
Is there a way to create some energy out of that? I think we can look at that. That's probably, but it's not a major part of the project, but it's something we can look at. Every incremental savings we can create by using gray water, whether it's to cool a plant, whether it's to turn a turbine as it plummets downhill towards the to be sent out to the ocean, we can take a look at that. I'm sure McGill has thought about it, and we'll remind him about it. But thanks to Daryl for remembering something from that far ago, and we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, from never mind the last decade. It's going back to the last century, as a matter of fact. All right, kind of like the idea, and I guess there's one other thing is one of the newspapers reporting about the case. There it is. GPA blames contractor for the plant explosion. I guess GPA and its insurers are going to court now against the company that was running Cabrera 3 and 4.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it, but the litigation speaks for itself, which is why we had to be careful how we talked about it, because the insurers that were saying GWA is not responsible for anything and will pay your claim reserve the right to pursue other parties in case they found fault. And this is sort of what's happening. And so to the degree we have to participate, we do. But right now, at least for ratepayers, the claim has been paid. We're using the money for the Northern Wastewater Treatment Plant. We've used the money to pay for fuel, and that's all in the bank, ready to go. There's no question about our claim being paid for. And now the insurer and GPA as a co-suer, basically co-litigant, is looking at potential claims from those that they feel are responsible. I believe most of, if any award is made, it probably goes back to the insurance company.
I see.
I'll find out more, but I don't think I think GPA has received its piece, but I believe we had to participate from a factual point of view in any litigation. So
I got you.
That's kind of where we're at.
It's 7:52 in the morning, Si. It's always a pleasure. I'll get with you soon.
Yes, take care, Ray.
You know it. I'll talk to you. 888-8255-888-TALK. So there it is. I mean, it's a launch of a story about, and I consider it a big story, Black Construction getting the deal on $122 million worth of construction of a brand new wastewater treatment plant up in the north. It does not cost ratepayers anything to put that together, because that was something that was made in the original deal back in the day when we first started talking about the military buildup. Kind of a delight to hear him bring up the name of General Bice. David Bice was one of my favorite interviews. Whenever he'd come by Guam, he'd come up to the radio station, and we'd hang out and just talk about buildup stuff. And when we weren't talking about build-up stuff, he would talk about Marine stuff, because that's where he was from. General Bice was a Marine Corps guy from a long, long time ago, and the guy that was the original mechanic behind the military build-up, and one of the guys that made all of the proposals up to and including this one here about bringing wastewater treatment to Guam at no cost to ratepayers. You know, Marines can do that kind of thing. I got one on the line right now. One of my other favorite Marines in the whole wide world, Bob Klitsky. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning, and Semper Fi, Ray.
Yeah, all Marine noises at the same time. Nice to hear from you, and I'm delighted to get you on the line. I haven't had a chance since I've been back to hear you on the radio, so I don't know if you've spent a lot of time riffing on the ban, or not the ban, but the attempts by the government of Guam with taxpayer dollars to go out there and find an abortion doctor.
I have.
Oh, very good.
And, I refer to abortion doctors as hitmen, because very recently the Pope said you really don't need to go to religion to be opposed to abortion. He said it's taking the life of an innocent just as a hitman would, and no problem is ever solved by hiring a hitman, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here.
With now the role of the governor's office, or anybody working in the governor's office, to try to entice somebody to come to Guam to do this. I mean, it feels kind of odd that there would be government resources spent trying to get something like that.
Exactly, and that's why I drafted that suggested language for a bill that no government money or government resources be expended to try to entice, attract, recruit, whatever, an abortionist to come to Guam. Again, it doesn't seem like a proper governmental function to me. And second, I think the public policy of the territory is strongly anti-abortion. So what I see is the governor using government resources to further her own personal agenda, and using Jane Flores to do the same thing. It doesn't seem like it's good government, and to me it's not in line with where the people of Guam are. We enacted a bill in the 90s that criminalized abortion, and it passed unanimously. That bill was found to be unconstitutional by the Ninth Circuit. But the legislature has never taken the time to repeal that particular bill. So I make the argument that that bill stands for the public policy of the territory of Guam. It's the last time the legislature has spoken to the matter of abortion directly. There have been several other bills that I suppose abortionists would consider to be anti-abortion, but that bill has never been repealed. So there's no reason for the governor to use governmental resources to go out and recruit an abortionist. Now, I pointed out that there hasn't been an abortion on Guam since May of last year. So apparently the governor sees this as some kind of an emergency. We got to deal with it. We got to get our numbers up here on that one.
But there's an airplane ride that you can go on, I suppose, if you were really in a situation that beyond your control, beyond your comprehension, and you could still get a procedure done, say, in Hawaii, right?
I understand that's correct, yeah. And you could get one done on Guam if you could find a doctor who would do it. But doctors don't want to do it. Most doctors don't want to do abortions because abortions are not health care, and that's what doctors are schooled in, is health care. So, there isn't any glory in being an abortionist. There's something to say for us not having one. I would see it as the ideal situation. I don't understand why we would want to spend governmental time and money to go out and do something because we haven't had an abortion for over a year.
Dr. Tom Shea has been very proactive on social media and suggesting that there are alternatives up to and including carrying the baby to term and giving the child up for adoption. That happens quite frequently and probably more often than people know here on Guam. Doctors in the OBGYN business don't generally publicize the number of children that are born out of wedlock or out of desperation that will find themselves some good home. 7:58 in the morning. So you're talking about an administrative correction at the legislature. Is there a judicial stand that somebody, a person of some capabilities, might be able to say we need to go to see a judge and have him put a stop on this?
Well, we do have our Proper Enforcement of Government Spending Act that says that no government money should be spent in the absence of an appropriation or illegally or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Probably be a pretty hard case to make, given where we are right now. That doesn't mean that it's not meritorious. What it means is that the process of filing suit and getting a case to trial pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And oftentimes is quite drawn out.
The government of Guam is pretty good at that, and it would be interesting to see what the position of an attorney general would be if he found himself in where he had to defend the government in that case. 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll hear you on the radio this afternoon about 4, okay?
Okay, Ray.
Appreciate it. Senator Bob Klitsky, Judge Bob Klitsky, Tall Tales host Bob Klitsky on the radio at 4 o'clock here on 93.3 The Point. Like to get him and his conversation in a little bit early. Coming up in the next hour of the program, we're going to pretend to talk about sports with Blake Watson. I got headlines and more from the Guam Daily Post and Fox News Live, which is coming up next on The Point.
Taking action. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Trump administration with a new round of economic sanctions against Iran and its leader.
The president says the imposition of sanctions against Iran's top leader, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is the appropriate thing to do.
These measures represent a strong and proportionate response to Iran's increasingly provocative actions. We will continue to increase pressure on Tehran until the regime abandons its dangerous activities and its aspirations.
But at the same time that the United States slaps harsh new sanctions on Iran, the president questioning why the United States is even in the Persian Gulf at all.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. The president tweeting this morning, why are we protecting the shipping lanes for other countries? Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has met with the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi as he pushes for security in the Persian Gulf. The plan would reportedly include the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and another 20 countries. Pompeo is meeting with allies in the Gulf to discuss building a global coalition to deal with Iran. The president signing an executive order this afternoon that calls for hospitals to let people know how much common tests and procedures cost beforehand.
It will create unprecedented transparency about health care prices and provide this information to the American people for the first time ever, first time it's ever been done. People knew it should have been done years ago, but they never got it done.
Some in the health industry with concerns saying it would force them to disclose contractual information considered trade secrets. The federal government removing most of the children from a remote detention facility in Texas after reports that they were in filthy conditions without adequate food or water. Wall Street at the close. Healthcare companies pulled the market slightly lower. Major indexes drifted between small gains and losses, though smaller company stocks still fell sharply. The Dow rose 8 points. This is Fox News.
Discover a new galaxy. GTA introduces the new Samsung Galaxy S10 in 3 different sizes. The Galaxy S10 comes with cool new features like Power Share that allows you the ability to share your battery power with other devices. Or you can capture a wider world with its new camera featuring an ultra-wide lens for when you need to take pictures of the whole family. And with GTA handset payment option, you can take home a Galaxy S10 for $0 down. GTA, we start with you.
Hey, it's Mom. Somebody forgot to thaw the chicken, so meet us at Chili's for 2 for $25. Oh, and congratulate your sister for making the basketball team. She's thrilled. Love you. See you at Chili's.
Enjoy 2 full meal combos for $25. An appetizer, 2 mouth-watering entrees like our crispy chicken breast, smoked barbecue quarter leg, or smoked jalapeno cheddar sausage. Served with corn on the cob and french fries. 2 bold combos for $25. A full-on meal deal available nightly for a limited time. Together, we Chili's.
A search is on for a missing University of Utah student. Mackenzie Lueck was last seen a week ago after flying back from a funeral in California.
What makes this case complicated for police, Mackenzie is an adult and there is no evidence of foul play. Detectives are limited in what and where they could search, in particular things like phone records, social media accounts, and bank records. The longer Mackenzie is missing, the more access they will have when approaching a judge for search warrants on her social media and other accounts. Police say both Lyft and the driver are cooperating. Since Monday, police say they have been in a daily contact with Mackenzie's family. They're still calling this a missing persons case, not a criminal case. In North Salt Lake, Aaron Cox, Fox News.
Lueck's phone has been off since she went missing, and her friends say her car is in her driveway. A leading drugstore chain makes it easier to get rid of unused meds.
Walgreens is expanding its safe drug disposal program to all of its pharmacies nationwide. Customers can use disposable RX packets at no cost to turn medications into a useless gel before tossing them away. Pharmacies that do not currently have disposable kiosks will offer other drug disposal options. Walgreens began providing the packets to customers last year as part of an ongoing effort to combat the opioid epidemic. The drugstore chain says it has led to the safe disposal of more than 1 million pounds of unwanted prescriptions, including controlled substances and other medications. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
The on-again, off-again Woodstock 50 festival could be on again at a smaller venue. The supervisor for the town of Vernon, New York, tells a local newspaper Woodstock 50 has applied for a permit to hold its concert August 16th through the 18th at Vernon Downs, an upstate New York racetrack and casino. The festival has faced a series of setbacks, including the Watkins Glen venue pulling out earlier this month. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Your home is one of the most important investments you'll make in your life. At Nanbo Insurance, you can rest easy knowing that you're covered with reliable and affordable homeowners insurance. Nanbo makes it easy to protect what matters the most so you can enjoy the moments that matter the most. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250, or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689, or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Tuesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. 13 of Guam's 15 senators have endorsed a resolution that calls on Governor Lulian Guerrero to ask the military to pause all construction on the live fire training range complex on Northwest Field at Anderson Air Force Base. During a news conference at the Guam Congress building yesterday, Senator Therese Terlahi said she supports a pause to allow professionals to assess the findings at 9 recently discovered sites where artifacts have been found. Senator Sabina Perez said she supports the pause to reassess whether the recent discoveries should be preserved in place instead of removed for preservation. And Senator Talina Nelson said she wanted to send a message to the people of Guam to let them know that lawmakers are not sleeping on issues that affect our heritage. None of the senators would say how long of a pause they sought. As long as it takes, said Senator Joe San Augustine. If the economic impact is bad, said Senator Tello Taitigui, it's justifiable because we're protecting our culture, she said. Senators Mary Torres and James Moylan did not endorse the resolution. Senator Torres is off island and was not available for comment. Senator Moylan, however, issued a statement saying it would be premature to pass a resolution seeking a temporary pause until we have the opportunity to hear from the Department of Defense. He pointed out that construction has already been paused around the 9 recently discovered sites, and he recommended talking with military officials to learn more about their preservation efforts and then deciding whether a resolution to pause construction is necessary. Concerns have also been raised by the governor and some senators on what they thought to be the only surviving fire tree on Guam in the midst of the firing range construction. However, there are, in fact, at least 18 other surviving fire trees on island that are being preserved in the Guam National Wildlife Refuge at Retidian. Following a meeting with senators on Friday, the governor agreed to ask the military for up to a 6-month pause in construction around that tree to allow for DNA testing to see if it could reproduce. However, refugee manager Tammy Summers told the Guam Daily Post yesterday that the refuge received funding from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to help keep the Cereanthes nelsoni, otherwise known as the fire tree, from going extinct. And James McConnell, a professor of ornamental horticulture at UOG, says the mature fire tree that the governor and some senators are concerned about has been protected through a variety of efforts, primarily by the Department of Defense. A report by UOG's Agriculture Experiment Station states that efforts began at UOG as early as 1998 with the support of the Air Force and Guam's Department of Agriculture to collect seedlings from the fire tree and grow them at a protected UOG nursery and then transplant them to the Retidian Refuge. We'll have more news after this.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. The Guam Waterworks Authority has awarded Black Construction a $122 million contract for the upgrade of the Northern Wastewater Treatment Plant in Dededo. Federal funds are paying for the project to help cover the costs brought on by the military buildup. The project work includes complete construction of a new secondary wastewater treatment facility at the Northern District Wastewater Treatment Plant, as well as upgrades and repurposing of certain existing infrastructure and facilities at the plant. Work's supposed to begin in September and be completed by December of 2021. Black parent company Tutor Perini Corporation made the announcement this morning. Black Construction and GWA have yet to issue any release regarding that announcement. United Airlines Flight 155 made an emergency landing at the AB Wonpat International Airport yesterday morning. Airport Marketing Administrator Rolinda Fasuamalie said the flight left Guam at 8:12 a.m. A little more than an hour into the flight, the pilot advised the plane's stall indicator light had come on and the flight would be returning to Guam. Fa'asua Mali'e said the airport initiated an Alert 2, which means aircraft rescue and firefighting services were placed on standby for an emergency landing. The Boeing 737 landed safely shortly after 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Fa'asua Mali'e said it was a very smooth landing and there were no injuries. United Corporate Communications said that as a precaution, the crew had declared an emergency. In their statement, they described the problem as a mechanical issue and said the maintenance team is currently inspecting the aircraft. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at our weather.
Partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. Winds from the east 10 to 20 miles an hour, decreasing to 5 to 15 miles an hour after sunset. Highs today warm 90 degrees. Now that's what we're predicting, 90 degrees. But there's every likelihood that you will get in the car, and depending on the vintage of the car, there's a thermometer in it that will read something as high as 95. I got into the car the other day and it read 101.
Yeah.
And I got the air conditioner working really, really hard to keep me cool in that automobile. Overnight lows still warm, about 79 degrees. Watch the sunset tonight at 6:51 and grab some pictures if you would. 8:13 in the morning, and sunrise this morning was about 5:55. Weather radar is up and working. Michael Knight knows how to interpret that.
Yes, we've got a few showers, a few isolated showers out there. Not much really going on, although I do see some building up off to the east, and they could be moving their way across here sometime later on this afternoon. Forecast not calling for a whole lot in the way of rainfall. We just don't have much in the way of disturbances in the surface flow to give us that. Let's go to satellite real quick. We don't have a heat index mentioned in the forecast because of these high clouds that are streaming over, and they're coming up from this very weak tropical disturbance, 95W Invest, which is down to our southeast. This system's going to kind of just get its act together very, very slowly as it trudges on past us, probably in a Thursday, Friday time frame. And the models are a little mixed on what's going to happen, but we'll increase our chances for rain just a little bit. It could be a lot, depending on the location of the system as it passes.
That's going to be weird for some people because we got short memories around here, and it's been a while since we've had to drive in the rain.
Yep.
So there is that possibility that people will swear there's a typhoon on them if it rains any harder than it has in the last couple of days.
I know last week we did have a couple of pretty heavy showers, which was good. It got a chance to wash some of the dirt and oils off the roadways. But now that it's been another 2 or 3 days, we're back to where we were. So, yeah,
exactly.
Any of those showers can make it slick.
It's 8:15 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point. We'll pretend to talk about sports with Blake next.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 data-to-go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The U.S., China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is data-to-go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
8:15 in the morning, and portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Ruby Tuesdays. Crazy new menu that they've got out. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're going to love this because they've got different ways that you can top things like ribeye steak or filet mignon or salmon. Last hour I told you about the Denancy coconut cream topping that crowns any one of those flavors of meats that you like. But they've also got loco moco. So you got the meat ground and everything down at the bottom. On top, grilled onions, portobello mushrooms, Parmesan cream sauce, and an over-easy egg, all of that on white rice, and all of that with the ribeye or the filet mignon or the salmon. You are going to absolutely love that. And I love the way that they've taken the basic loco moco and made it their own over at Ruby Tuesdays. Portions of the program also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future, and Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Quarter after 8 o'clock in the morning. Still portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Security Title, Ron and Kim. They're experts in the field of real estate and real estate transactions. So you got something real complicated coming up, and it doesn't have to be like we're buying a hotel or something like that. Buying and selling a house all by itself can be fairly complicated. If you've never done it before, talk to the experts before you do, and they'll walk you through the process. Things also brought to you by Take Care Insurance and Cars Plus, where they've still got performance days going on right now. The Dodge Challenger GT, among the sexiest rides available on Guam. It is the ultimate in automotive accessories, guys. Start with this car, and you can start on it for about $272 a paycheck, financing as low as 1.99% APR on your good credit, and Cars Plus, where they're driven by you.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, now we're all rocking our incredible shirts here this morning, and I'm glad that happened. This and it sounds girly, but it totally is. But this was the third shirt that I put on today. Really? Yeah, I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the way it was. It went with the olive gray pants that I was wearing. So it was a blue kind of flowery print thing, and it didn't feel like it went. Then I put something else on that just felt kind of baggy, and then so I settled on this. And now this is not any ordinary polo shirt. In fact, it's not a polo shirt. If you want to get in real close,
I know that brand off. I already know that brand. I know that brand by the logo.
It's Hang 10.
Hang 10.
It's a Hang 10 shirt, and you cannot buy Hang 10 shirts on Guam.
No.
I found this at...
I didn't even know you could buy Hang 10 shirts still.
I found this in Manila.
Oh, nice.
Not this last trip. Actually, about 10 years ago, I went with my brother to go watch Earth, Wind, and Fire. We went to Mall of Asia, which nobody calls it Mall of Asia. If you're in the Philippines, where are you going? MOA. We are going to MOA. Not MOA, not Mall of Asia. It's MOA. And that's where I found a store that sold the Hang 10 shirts. I was very, very happy about that. Now we've got, I didn't notice it when I came in this morning, but apparently Michael Knight has got a... Yeah, well, I don't... And I'm trying to figure out how you noticed it, and I didn't. Michael Knight has got a different shirt on.
It's a fabulous shirt.
It's nice. It's new, right? I've never seen
it. It is. No, Daryl got it for me while he was on vacation.
No way.
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. So I've got some flamingos here. And
That's
some
what stood out to
flowers.
me.
I'm sure there's like a naked woman hidden in the picture somewhere because that's what they all do. But right now, I haven't spotted her yet.
So I'm thinking that's really it's kind of awesome. And so we're all wearing some kind of interesting shirt today, up to and including. Let me see if I can just bring up just Blake here, because I want to be able to show off that shirt that he's wearing. It's a long sleeve. What did you call it?
Henley.
It's a Henley.
Long sleeve Henley makes it so basically the Henley makes it because it's got the buttons here.
Yeah.
and the like the slit cut, so it kind of makes it a collared shirt even though it's like
otherwise
a
very
t-shirt.
t-shirty.
Right?
Yeah,
Are those golden art? Is that the McDonald's sign there on this?
No, that's a bunny with crossbones. Skull. It's like a skull and crossbones, but it's a bunny.
You could have worn that to the EIF, right? You could have worn that to the Electric
This
Island
brand
Festival.
is called Psycho Bunny. It was actually given to me by a sponsor.
Nice.
Yeah, given to me by a sponsor. Thanks, JP.
Actually, I got the guys are coming in here this morning. The EIF guys are actually going to be in here this morning. Because I wanted, it's an interesting event on an event scale, on a business scale. So I kind of want to talk to them about, the chance that they took, because there were a lot of people that originally said, electronica and techno dance music and shows like that never ever work on Guam. But they do.
Well, I mean, not only that,
big way.
they also do good. Like they do 5Ks, they do beach cleanups, so they're not just crazy partying rave people. They also do give back to the community in a positive way.
Right. So I'm going to get to hang out with those guys in a little bit on the program. But anyway, so the Henley shirt, the reason why it catches my attention is because you can't find it in the stores anywhere. Where do you get that?
Well, like I said, I got this one. JP gave me this one.
Right.
But I also have a short sleeve one that is red, and it looks just like this, short sleeve. And I think I want to say that one I probably found on the rack at Ross, just kind of stuck away. But if you Google Amazon Henley, on Amazon, just Google either short sleeve or 3/4 sleeve or long sleeve. So they come in different. You can get the baseball tee, you can get the short sleeve you're wearing, or you can get the long sleeve. But yeah, just Google Henley and it will pop up all different kinds of styles.
You know what? You could
It's
wear
my
that.
favorite kind of shirt. I like the Henley because it's almost like the mullet. You know, it's kind of business casual.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it works.
Yeah, it works.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so you're just doing a kind of a round table on some fashion around here because we're just a bunch of fashionable guys on
Right.
the radio, and we're on Facebook Live, so you can see everything that's going on. 21 after 8 o'clock in the morning. Blake Watson's in the studio. Must be Top 4 Sports with Blake. Is scuba diving a sport?
Yep. See, I just Googled Henley men's Amazon. Look at all the styles that first popped up. They got all kinds.
Oh, and they're not expensive too. Under $20. All right, I can buy several in different colors.
Yep. Short
Sweet.
sleeve, all kinds of lengths too.
So is diving a sport?
I think like scuba diving, right?
Yes, scuba diving.
No, that's more of a hobby or an activity.
Or
not really a
recreation,
sport.
or kind of recreation. Only because, I guess like archery is a sport, and maybe shooting is a sport, even though they're hobbies, because there are sanctioned events for those.
Well, they're competitions.
Yeah,
but
that's
you
what I
don't
mean,
have
competitions,
you don't have
yeah.
diving competitions
Right.
in terms of scuba.
Right.
Well, there could be.
Just
But
platform
put a
diving.
clock on it. Just put a
Yeah.
timer on
Well,
something,
yeah.
and somebody will say this is some kind of a sporting event.
Navy,
Well, and have
Navy
a-
SEAls may tell you it's a sport.
Well,
Yeah,
They're
well,
down- they're
but
down
they
there-
do it a little differently.
Yeah, they're down there diffusing bombs in record time.
I'm trying to figure out how I can combine that in the conversation because I don't really have a lot of sports stuff on at least my paperwork.
Yep.
I don't have a lot of sports stuff this morning, but I did spend some time yesterday with a guy named Fred, and Fred and I got together and because I have I don't have it on me. I've got it in my wallet in the office, but I've got a Nowie, ladies and gentlemen, advanced diver card from 1986.
Wow.
When a guy named Jim McWhorter took me through the course at the original MDA while it was still down in Agate. So I'm an advanced diver, but it seems to me that there have been some changes in the technology and maybe changes in the technique for diving, and so I was thinking about not getting recertified because my certification lasts forever, but going on a FAM dive. And so Sam Beanie hooked me up with this guy Fred, and so Fred is working on getting me to go on 2-tank boat dive on Sunday.
The double tank? Ooh, double tank?
No. Two
different ones.
2 tanks means a deep dive, and then you go on the boat and party with chicks in bikinis, and then you go down for another dive that's usually a little bit shallower.
I did that. I did that same thing with American Tanker and Gab Gab 2.
Yes,
when I
like
got
that.
when I got certified.
Yeah.
Have you gone diving since you've grown your beard?
No, I have not
You're
gone
going
diving
to find
since
that to be a particular challenge because of the mask.
the mask that's got to go on the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
the
so
water's going to get in.
he said he's got different varieties of things that I can of masks that
Right.
that will work. And what the heck? I mean, it's not the most impossible thing in the world to clear your mask a couple of times while you're diving. It's just I don't want it to be the thing that I'm doing the entire time I'm diving. So there's a couple of it ain't going to be worth shaving for. if that's a problem, then I'll find archery or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like
Go snorkeling.
I'm looking forward to it because it's been a long time. The last time I was on a dive was I was with Tim Rock and a few people down in Cairns, Australia, and we did the Great Barrier Reef. And I thought it was a delightful dive, except that it was frigid. It was absolutely
really?
freezing
It gets
cold.
cold down there, huh?
Yeah. And they did.
At least you dove it. I don't know how much longer that you're going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah,
The water currents
Barrier
down there are chilly.
Yeah, so
Very chilly.
very cold, and they had the little wetsuit here, but it didn't cover enough. And I got to do a shout out while I'm thinking about it because there was a guy from Stars and Stripes that was with me on that dive, and his name's Doug Johnson, and folks around here know who Doug Johnson is. And I ran into as I'm going to meet with Fred yesterday, I met up with this guy Doug, who was returning some dive gear at another place, and so he's going to be here for a couple of weeks. If you know him, then make contact with him through Facebook or whatever, and say Ray Gibson did a shout out because scuba is sports. Kazendo said, score or times. Find a way to put a score or a time on it, and then we can make it a sport.
Yeah, you have to maybe build like an underwater obstacle course with like rings and like little bridges, things to go under and through and kind of thing.
See
like drone racing, but scuba,
But there's another thing that I've got a GoPro.
And
I'm sitting there scratching my head most of the time thinking, what am I going to use it for?
Well,
right? We're not volleyball season anymore, so it's not like I'm shooting movies with my daughter. I'm just
Maybe
going,
if they give you a list of things to take pictures of while you're underwater,
Right?
and then you compile that list, and the first one back
like a scavenger.
Yeah,
kind of.
Okay, so we'll work on that. Anyway, 8:26, and it's almost out of time to talk about sports, but what do you got?
I got a little bit. Summer Jam basketball tournament. I'm saying this. They're sponsored by the Bank Bank of Guam, and this is a big deal for them. They're kicking off their 15th year. So the Summer Jam basketball tournament for the youth, just to kind of give them something to do during the summer months. We'll kick off, let's see here, tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the Tamuning Gym, and it will run until August 11th. The tournament features several teams. We've got 8 under and all the way up to 18 and under, and adult co-ed divisions. This year, the tournament has grown to 36 teams, 400 athletes, Ray, competing in roughly 128 games. Gosh.
Are they doing...
Over the next 6 weeks. August 1st is only 6 weeks away.
I can't believe
August 11th is only 6 weeks away?
Yep. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. And remind me, I need to start talking about this more. One of the things I did in the Philippines was a photo shoot and a video thing that I did for Resort World. They're going to have on August the 25th, Run With Me X. And
what's the X?
It's their anniversary, 10th anniversary.
Oh, X.
So they've asked me to go and run with them in Manila.
An ambassador.
An ambassador.
Cool.
So, and you as in you that are listening to the broadcast, can run with me. They're going to put together a special package with the hotel accommodations, maybe airfare, stuff like that, where you just click on it on the website, and then you can sign up for the race in in the Philippines. Run With Me X at Resorts World Manila. Run With Me Resorts World Manila, RWM.
You said August 25th?
August 25.
That is weird. That is, again, that is 2 months to the day from today.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We were talking about that. It's only 6 months from...
Yep. Oh, I've already... Once I hit the airwaves yesterday, I cracked the mic, and I was like, oh, yeah, last week of June. Where's all those people that were laughing at me a month ago? And I was like, Christmas is almost here. They're like, it's May, bro.
Get out, right?
And I'm like, and now look, it's already July.
Well,
Christmas.
It's the 25th, and I've been looking towards the end of this month here, because at the end of this month, then we are halfway through the year.
Correct.
So we've already determined that.
Complete.
Not June the 1st, because it's the first day of the 6th month.
Right.
It's the end of the 6th month, and that will mark the beginning of the middle of 2019, which means we are going to be sliding, you're right, headfirst into fall, into Christmas time.
Do you realize we are almost wrapped up the second decade of this millennium, of this new century? We're about to head into the third decade.
You realize if it was 100 years ago, then that means New Year's Eve this year, Prohibition would go into effect?
Ew. Ew. I didn't even like talking about that.
That's not that long ago, 100 years ago.
Don't say that. We get the 35th Guam legislature.
I got to play this in protest.
No, actually, we got a request. We got a request for that a little bit earlier in the program. Yeah. Somebody asked us, said, I'll find it, but somebody had made the suggestion that good morning. It was Joe Ed Cruz says, good morning, Ray, Mike, and Kev. Aya-day, the economy failing, crime is rising, the administration and legislation with unfulfilled promises, and so on and so forth. But love the headline, turn on Tuesday. That's what I called it today. Love the headline, turn on Tuesday. So let's fire that tree and chill. Cue that bubbly sound. Cue that bubbly sound. Welcome to Turn On Tuesday. Anyway, 8:30 in the morning. Back to the Summer Jam thing.
Yeah.
Summer Jam. Now, 15 years. I want to say 15 years ago. Did they not also do one of those half-court Papa Shot competitions?
They did.
Yeah, right?
Because I
think somebody won and they stopped doing it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because people have asked me about it years ago, and I asked some of the coordinators then, and they're like, yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Somebody wins.
It's kind of like what was it? Like a penny a wing night? Not, those things don't really exist anymore. Penny a pint or whatever.
No. That was penny to pee. Penny before you pee. There was a nightclub promotion where everybody, as many people as you want to get in the bar, and your drink's a penny until somebody has to go pee.
Really?
Yes.
So people are just sitting around not trying to break the seal and holding it.
Don't break the seal. Don't do it. Don't do it, because then the prices go back into regular effect.
Imagine all the people that cheated, walked out to their cars. Oh, I got to go get cigarettes.
I'm sure that there were some policies in place that prevented exactly that kind of thing from happening. Uncle Robert's online. So's Jose Martinez. Kaz Endo is online, waiting for us to talk about Conquer with a K.
Palau's coming up with the next one, or this Rhoda here?
Forgot.
I don't know.
Sorry,
Kaz. I'm pulling it up.
Sonny Cruz online. Jacqueline Diaz is there. Lady D from up in Gigo hanging out with us. Yuka Hechanova. Lynn Perez is online. Antiloli Kamet. Neil Weir is online. This is great. I get Neil Weir and Robert Underwood online at the same time. This is the brain power that is listening to this program right now is just incredible and intense. So there's now I got a thing today. Was talking about Toy Story 4, and apparently
you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it. And I want to say that there was one of the newspapers today is reporting that that the numbers are kind of down for it.
I thought it said it made like 118 million in its first weekend.
$118 million in the first weekend, but that was below expectations for Toy Story 4. And I think I know why. I know somebody that wants to go watch Toy Story 4, but is absolutely traumatized because Toy Story 3 freaked her out. You remember with the scene where everybody was going to go get melted, and it was like
they all hold hands.
They were holding hands,
going to the incinerator face first after Lotso put them in there.
They were going to die, and I got misty watching that, right? And so I think there's a lot of people going, Toy Story 4 is going to be out there, and it's going to break my heart like Game of Thrones.
Spoiler alert: the aliens figured out how to use the claw and save them all. They used the big trash compactor claw.
So there it is on that. So just an FYI.
You know what? Let me ask you because I want to go see it, and not because I'm scarred, but my dilemma is so I don't know if they're going to get my money because my dilemma is I do want to go see it. My daughter, who will be 3 in July,
right?
She loves Toy Story. She calls it Woody. I need to watch Woody. I need to watch. She even swindled me out of a Bo Peep toy over the weekend that talks. But anyway,
she should get used to that, Dad.
but she'll be 3 July 29th. So, listeners, help me out. Do I take her? Is that rude of me? Like, is that me being inconsiderate of the like movie going audience? Because here's the thing: I am not 100. I'm 60-40, 60% saying she will be over it 15 minutes in, get scared when the lights goes down, and throw a fit. So what do I do? Do I spend the money, chance it, go? Because I did that on Friday. She's been watching YouTube aquarium videos. She wanted to go see fish. Went down to Underwater World. Mrs. Sports, the teacher. By the way, teachers get in free. She'd utilize that, teachers. But yeah, we went down there. She wanted to see the fish. I mean, we get past the big sharks, picture-taking mouth skull thing. We get right into, not even to the aquarium yet, just right where the brown tree snakes are already. She sees the steam coming out of the little rivers on the side. She's just yelling, no, no. The stingray's swimming over us. She's not having it. Not at all.
Yeah, I'd wait out a little bit. As what the teachers and the counselors always said, wait until she learns to control herself a little bit better, because kids will freak out about that kind of thing. And if that's not if she's not already crazy about the movies, then on behalf of the parents of the other ones that are going to say, hey, do something about that kid, maybe wait it out. You go watch it and wait it out.
Or I'll wait for it. I think Disney Plus launches in November, their version of Netflix. So I'll just wait for it to hit Disney Plus at the end of the year.
K11, Conquer 11, July 7th. K12 and 13th will be November 31st and December the 1st. And the July 7th is here. Palau is going to be November 31st and December 1st.
If you go to their Facebook page too, Conquer, they still got their early bird specials, by the way. That's where I found all that out. July 7th at the Dedito Sports Complex.
Lee Stolley says Toy Story 4 is absolutely hilarious. So what you're saying, Lee, is forget the trauma from 3. I should go watch it, right? I'm not going to get PTSD or anything like that from, just freaking out over the incinerator scene. Pam Duvall says watch it first. And then figure out what the deal is with the girl.
See, I was 2, and my parents went and took me to American Tail, the Fievel movie.
Oh.
And I was good. I lasted the whole movie.
Somewhere out there. Love that song.
Weren't they Russian? Were they Russian? Was Fievel and his family Russian? I think they were. I think they had
Croatian, I think.
Something like that. Slovenian. They had accents.
8:35, and I think that's all the time. At least Dolly says, watch it. So but it's not so much whether he's going to watch it, Lee. It's whether he brings his daughter, who may, as soon as the lights go down and this first whiff of popcorn, start with the 3-year-old freak out.
She does love popcorn. That's her favorite snack. So that may keep her in the seat. Yeah, that may keep her in the seat.
Gotcha. You know what I had? Well, I'm sorry. We should probably get around to doing something else around here. But I had in the Philippines while I was watching Rocket Man. great movie, as I said yesterday. The popcorn comes in flavors.
Yes, it does.
They have different flavors of popcorn. You can get regular popcorn, you can get buttered popcorn. They had a sour cream and onion flavored popcorn that was really good. And then they had another one that was like cheddar cheese popcorn.
I bought a bag over the weekend, smoked Gouda popcorn.
Nice.
But the smoked Gouda is smoked cheese, right?
Yeah.
It ended up making, like, the smoked flavor ended up making it taste like bacon. So it actually tastes like bacon-flavored popcorn.
You
pretty good,
that,
yeah.
You go to
It's pretty
Disneyland, they've got one that's pepper. They have the black pepper popcorn.
And they also give you the cool limited edition, like, big popcorn buckets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know what, guys? That's all the time that we got to pretend to talk about sports. Appreciate you hanging out with Blake and I. I've got headlines from the Guam Daily Post coming up next.
Travel the world and then some with the 2 million United Miles sweepstakes from First Hawaiian Bank. Enter and you could win the grand prize of 1 million miles or be one of 6 other lucky winners. The world is big. Our prize is bigger. Enter at fhb.com/2 million miles. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Sweepstake starts on May 1st and ends June 30th, 2019. Open to legal residents of Guam and CNMI. Ages 18 years or older. Visit 2millionmiles.com for official rules. First Hawaiian Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Is there grooviness where you are? 8:37 in the morning, and if I've done everything right, I might have a lady named Natalia Faculo coming into the radio station. She is with an outfit. Well, I mean, she's with a couple of different outfits, but the one in particular that I'm interested in to share with you is an outfit called Toastmasters. She's be a returning guest on the program, but when we first got to talk to her about it, it was at the beginning, kind of the relaunch, if you will, of the Toastmasters here on Guam. And after a few months and a bunch more meetings under their belt, I kind of wanted to see where they were at. And the other thing is she's really, really easy on the eyes, so I think you'll enjoy watching her. Anyway, 8:38 in the morning, and it's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. This morning, Jeffrey Limo, the former head of internal affairs at the Department of Corrections, has reached a plea deal with the government of Guam. Limo, among several former correction officers, charged in 2017 in connection with a contraband smuggling scheme at the prison. He was charged with conspiracy to promote major prison contraband, receiving bribes, and official misconduct. Superior Court Judge Anita Sokola said yesterday that she received Limo's plea agreement on the 14th of June. Details of the agreement have not yet been disclosed. He is among the last of the co-defendants to reach a settlement in the nearly 2-year-old case, last of 11 of the co-defendants. 58-year-old Michael Earlett has returned to Guam to begin serving his 18-month sentence on criminal sexual conduct. The former UOG professor was found guilty of third-degree criminal sexual conduct in October of 17. He'd recently been teaching in Hong Kong, awaiting the outcome of his appeal, which was lost. Last week, he registered as a Level 1 sex offender on the Guam Sex Offender website. Yesterday, surrendered to the Department of Corrections to begin serving his sentence. Lieutenant Governor Joshua Tenorio is in New York City this week, attending the World Pride Celebration, the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising, and the 2019 World Human Rights Conference, where he has been invited to speak as a featured panelist. According to the release from the governor's office, Tenorio is the highest-ranking elected official to be featured at the World Human Rights Conference. The news release described Tenorio as the first openly gay lieutenant governor in the country. The LT, in a statement, said he's grateful to be a part of the conference and bring attention to the plight of those in the LGBT community. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. iConnect time. In the studio here is 8:40. Swing by the nearest iConnect, and they will teach you things that maybe you don't know about some cool plans that are going to save you money on your internet and mobile plans in 2019.
Let's go for a drive.
Let's take a stroll.
Let's gallivant. Let's go cruising.
We all have different ways to describe how we get up and go in our cars. But whatever you may call it, you can do more of it when you save 6% off your fuel purchases at any Shell station when you use your eligible Bank of Guam Visa and MasterCard credit cards. So stop by any Guam or CNMI Shell station and start saving today. Visit bankofguam.com for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank. Member FDIC.
20 away from, and my friends over at Wendy's have got a new made-to-crave menu featuring the barbecue. No, yes, there's a barbecue in here, but there's not the peppercorn mushroom melt with savory mushrooms. Then we've got the barbecue cheeseburger, sweet and smoky barbecue sauce, and then they've taken three of my favorite things: cheeseburger and the sausage sauce and bacon, and all put. Yes, it's all together in one sandwich. So find that waiting for you at Wendy's on the made-to-crave menu today.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Traffic is looking okay today. I'm looking at the traffic gizmo, and I'm seeing, as usual around this time, the only thing that's going to slow you down is the traffic lights at the different intersections that we've got in town. Most of them seem to be running a little bit clear. There might be a couple of spots, like up at Waisangsong, northbound traffic, a little bit slow at that turn into the village. You'll also see some northbound traffic moving slow by the, it's the Fatima Mobile, if I'm thinking about it right. Yes, definitely moving slow at that intersection. Intersection of 1 and 3, a little bit busy over by GRMC. Northbound traffic meets incoming traffic at the Jollibee Chicken Joy intersection, and watch out for traffic on route Santos Hill. That's the one between the Weston and Marine Corps Drive. Traffic at the top and bottom moving fairly slow through there. You'll also see some traffic should begin to clear up just as you get past St. John's area. Intersection of Marine Corps Drive and 10 Alpha working busy this morning, and I'm looking to see if there's anything else. Man, it's just crazy all of a sudden. I'm looking at did everybody leave for the office late this morning? Because that's what it's looking like. The intersections are very, very busy, it seems, including the one at Route 8 and Route 7. That brings you into the downtown Hagutnya area, and still a little bit busy at Navy Hospital, and probably crazy busy down in Sumai. As a matter of fact, it is. Told you yesterday about some traffic that might be slowing you down over by Polaris Point. North and southbound traffic seem to be slowing down there because there is traffic and construction that's taking place down there. 8:43 right now, traffic on the point.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and HubZone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Yeah. 8:44 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. I think I got EIF guys coming in into the studio in just a little bit. But in the studio right now, and I've already got her on the camera, and somebody, Uncle Robert, was writing on Facebook. He said, Ray keeps talking, but we can't see him. That's because for the last couple of minutes, I've had Natalia's face up on the Facebook Live camera, which is far prettier than mine.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, good.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How you doing now?
Not so bad. Yeah, today's a bright and sunny Tuesday.
Working our way into a busy Tuesday for you, right? Mm-hmm. There is now Natalia. Let me get to see if I can put both of us on the screen the way the producer likes it. Yeah, that's much better. I've got comments that are covering me up. Well, let me see if I can stop that. Okay, fine. Now we're in pure interview mode here. Anyway, so busy tonight because you've got another meeting of the Toastmasters.
That's correct.
So let's back up here. It was I want to say about 6 or 7 months ago. I had you in the studio, not too far away from the chair that you're in right now, talking about Toastmasters and kind of a personal project that you had to bring Toastmasters back to Guam.
Yes, that is correct.
Let's back up on that. So now everybody ought to have a project, right? And you decided one of these days that was going to be yours and something that would bring you, what's the word, fulfillment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I talk all about fulfillment. It was basically wanting to look for something more purposeful in my life. And I experience anxieties when it comes to public speaking. And I'm very ironic because I'm a musician and I sing, but it's completely different, than going up and speaking. So I sought to search for something that could help remedy this. And then I came across Toastmasters. The last time we had Toastmasters was, I believe, in 1996. And then it disappeared. So we just wanted to bring back this movement. Paid the community fee, and then we started our interest meetings in about February, and that's when I believe we came to
over at
the third meeting.
AutoSpot.
Yes. So we got a group of individuals together. Everyone was just kind of curious, and we wanted to build momentum because everyone was wondering, okay, what's this Toastmasters about? So basically, for those who aren't aware, those who are first time hearing it, Toastmasters is basically a group of individuals that come together that provide a positive learning environment to practice your public speaking skills and even your leadership development skills. So what we do is we have roles within a meeting. We have our all counts are grammarians. So it could be intimidating at first, but let me tell you, it's really fun.
No, I'll tell you, it's intimidating at first. I'm a talker guy on the radio for a living. This is what I do. But then we were at the meeting, and you've got people there that will count the ums and the ahs and all of the crutch phrases that people will use in their conversation, and it got me thinking about maybe there's some of these things that I still do on the air that I need to be a little bit more conscious of as I'm presenting on the microphone.
And that's the point. And we just want you to become more aware that, just like I just said it earlier, of your ahs and your ums. And since we started Toastmasters, this is something I try to just remind myself: do not use filler words like that. Just take a moment and pause. And you can engage your listeners the more you do that. But when you fill it with those words like you just kind of lose them.
Even the phrase, I mean, there are people that will use that all the time in their conversation, or people that will start sentences with the word "so." Because that's the word I know I can put in front of any sentence that will give me another second or two to put together the rest of what it is that I'm talking about. So there is a method to the madness. Now, that's just one of the roles.
Yes.
Tell me about some of the other ones.
So what a lot of people or our members look forward to is our table topics portion. So this is where we kind of get you to think on your feet, right? So we ask you we ask you a question, and usually we go according to our theme. So tonight's theme is Think and Grow Rich. So that can mean different things to people, not necessarily the book, but we draw from our Toastmasters topics, and that just so happened to come up. So I was like, let's give this a try. So we have our table topics portion where tonight we have James Passion, who's taking on the role, and he's been exploring the interview style. And we found that our members have been very responsive to this kind of just exploring the different techniques you can use when you're practicing your public speaking. Some people prefer, one-on-one. Other people enjoy the interview style, or even the when you have your...
So I'm in the middle of an interview right now, and I don't realize that there is an interview style for Toastmasters. So how does that work?
Well, it's just a matter of exploring the different techniques, right? I said right. And this is why I'm in Toastmasters.
No, don't worry about it. If it is a problem, if you're using it all the time, I think then it's something. And we make fun of former director Joanne Brown over at the Port, and her crutch phrase is "at the end of the day." And what we have done here at the radio station is it doesn't matter what the interview is or how long we've been talking to her, but when she gets to 13 at the end of the days, conversation's over. We're done. We're not going to have that conversation anymore. So, but I don't. As far as I know, nobody is counting your no's and your yeses or your rights or anything like that. So don't worry about that. But let's get back to the interview. Yeah. So the interview style. How would that work if we were in Toastmasters? What would it be?
We go around very informal. We don't want to intimidate our folks there. But James, for example, he's filling on the role tonight, so he'll come up to you and he'll ask you. Usually, we have a question, and he'll just bring the mic over and ask you the question. How do you feel most challenged, or what? Just fulfilling the theme, and then the members would then answer. They can choose to sidestep. What you call sidestep is where you can answer the question or you can talk about something completely different.
Right.
If you should feel that you are unable to answer the question for some reason.
Politicians around here do that all the time. There's a sidestep
go.
and a dodge. That's a very interesting question, James. I'm glad that you asked me that question. Now, about that tree up at the firing range that we want to talk about. Yeah, that's one of the great challenges. So you can go and riff. Now, as far as the answer is concerned, how long does the answer need to be in that interview forum?
Thank you for bringing that up. We have a timer who will be timing each session, including prepared speeches and the impromptu. The impromptu is about 1 to 2 minutes. At max 2 minutes. So once you hit your 2-minute mark, we have a red card that's going to be shown. So it just makes you conscious about the time you're speaking. Same for prepared speeches. So we have usually 2 to 3 who come in with prepared speeches based on a theme, and they'll tell us their goal, whether it's 5, 6, 7 minutes, and we will time them according to that. And the closer you get to that time mark, we either raise yellow, green, or red.
So I'm the guy on the radio. I can riff for anything. Give me a topic, I can riff on it, ad infinitum between now and the top of the hour. Easy, cheesy stuff. I mean, this is not difficult for me. But if I was in a scenario like that and said, okay, we're going to give you a topic and you have to talk for 3 minutes. You're familiar with like CrossFit and 2030 and things like that, right? So the idea is you can do anything for 30 seconds. Can you hold a plank for 60 seconds or something like that? It's the same thing. If you told me that there was a time limit, I don't know that I'd be able to make that time limit. I don't know. I'd be the guy that's, would be trying to fill in all of that space between here and there because it's not what I'm used to. Being able to talk about stuff on the radio.
No problem with that.
I don't know.
I wish I had your problem is that you can actually go on and we have some members, including myself, who have trouble with, man, are we at the 5-minute mark yet?
That's what I mean. I get breathless at the idea that I have this countdown in front of me. But, talking on the radio, that's nothing. I'm going to ask you to put the headphones on and mess up your ear. I got Ken on the line that has got a comment, I think, about Toastmasters or something else. Good morning, Ken.
Good Ken.
Good morning. No, it's definitely about Toastmasters. My mentor was in Toastmasters in the 40s. And when I got recruited out of Guam to Hawaii, within the first week of me arriving in Hawaii, he had a little conversation with me. He said, I see you have the potential for leadership, and I want you to join Toastmasters. I'll tell you why. Because all communication, whether you're talking to one person or 1,000 people, is an attempt to convey a thought and an idea in a way that is compelling and gets buy-in. And I listened to him. I said, that makes sense and stuff like that. And he says, everybody thinks they're good at communicating. Very few people really are. So I want you to go to Toastmasters. I thought I was good at communicating until I went to Toastmasters. And it was very intimidating, but over time, I got over it, and it helped me become the person I am today. And as you know, I speak to a lot of people all the time, whether it's one person or 50 people, but many of the lessons I learned in Toastmasters back in the 70s are still with me now. And the club here on Guam is getting off to a great start, and I encourage anybody, whether you're in a leadership position or not, but if you're in a position where you're trying to communicate ideas effectively, this could help you sharpen your knife.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Ken. And we've seen you come into the meetings. You provided very helpful feedback, and we actually implemented a few of that. So you mentioned in one of your previous meetings that what they did was they wrote questions down, and as people come into the meeting, they would then pick a question, and it would kind of be like the icebreaker for the meeting. And it's worked excellent during our meetings. Our members actually get really excited for this portion of the meeting, and it's worked really well. So we appreciate that feedback, and we hope that you're able to join us for our next coming meetings as well.
Well, there's one tonight.
Yes, there is, and we'd like to regain momentum here and invite anyone interested. Just come on down to Cars Plus 6:30. We provide that platform for learning. Whether you're interested in conducting a presentation in work, or even just learning to have a personal conversation one-on-one with someone, or just interested in overall development of your communications, please come on down. You can come network with our members. We have people from all walks of life. Someone shared a story.
One of the successes I think this group is going to have is I've been to other Toastmasters, and they were almost inbred. You know, I went to a Toastmasters club in California, and almost everybody in that club was in the finance and banking industry. I went to another Toastmasters club in Nebraska, and almost everybody in there was in the car sales industry. The group that you have put together is so diverse that I think that makes the opportunities for development even stronger, because you're not talking with your own kind. You know, you get a car salesman in front of a group of car salesmen, you know, there's instant comfort level. But the fact that your group is diverse, when someone stands up to talk, they're talking to a wide range of people.
Students in there, teachers, business people, college kids, just you name it. You're right. There's the meeting that I attended, broad swath of our community, and I think that's good news. Thanks, Ken. I really appreciate your call. 8:56. So meeting tonight over at Cars Plus, 6:30. I brought my own water with me last time. Are you guys doing refreshments or anything like that?
Yes, we have refreshments there, and hopefully we'll have some fruits or donuts tonight. So,
so
come on,
if you have fruits or donuts, come by and bring them to the Toastmasters. That's all right. Now there's I want to say you just show up for free tonight if you want to, but you can at some point become a dues-paying member of Toastmasters.
Yes, absolutely, and it's $20 for new members, and then a $45 fee for 6 months. But we don't impose the fee on everyone, or you can come to as many.
I was going to say, how many meetings can I go to for free?
No, you're welcome to join us every meeting. And our meetings are every other Tuesday, by the way. So tonight and then in the next 2 weeks. So again, you can just come for as many meetings as you'd like until you're ready to take on the challenge to become a Toastmaster. But we include you as part of our community.
I was going to say there's other challenges in there as well. I mean, it's not just that. It's not just showing up. I mean, you can become one of the role members and take on some responsibilities in the meetings.
And we always look for enthusiastic people who want to be in charge of an officer role or even a part of a committee. And one great feature about becoming a member is that you get access to what you call the Pathways program. So you take this leadership assessment, and then that will categorize you into the areas that, based on your answers, you can work towards developing. And so you have different modules you'll go through. It's kind of like an actual class. So what your exercise in that module, you'll bring to Toastmasters, and that you can base your speech on.
There was a conversation, I recall, at the last meeting about setting up this as kind of a parent organization of Toastmasters, and then setting up smaller Toastmaster groups. Have you been able to do that? Have you been able to set up smaller Toastmaster groups, or does everybody seem to be satisfied with just showing up at Cars Plus every other Tuesday?
That's the goal.
That's still the goal.
We actually have an open house that's going to be on July 16th at the University of Guam. And I have heard that the Anderson has started a Toastmasters. So, if you're in that area, feel free, if you see the invite, to go check them out as well. So the more clubs, the better, because this is an excellent club to just kind of get you out there and practicing. Communication is very integral to anything we do in our personal success, So, I encourage you, come down tonight. If you can, 6:30 at Cars Plus.
Uncle Robert says I need to have you on the show all the time, and I think I understand why, Uncle Robert. However, for those of it that I can't have you on the program all the time, where can I see you next? Where are you singing this weekend?
I sing at the Dusitani Aqua Sunday brunch. 11:30 to 2:30.
Gotcha. Well, and that's where you're going to be able to find her, or tonight over at Cars Plus at 6:30 for Toastmasters. Natalia, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much, Ray.
No, I love sharing you with the audience, and I think the feeling is mutual. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG. Got you, Ray Gibson Show. Fox News Live is coming up next, and the next hour we're going to talk oddly about an Electric Island Festival that took place over the weekend, this last weekend, and why it's going to be interesting to folks that listen to talk radio. Find out how I do it next.
tightening sanctions. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump signing off on them this morning, which the Treasury Secretary says will lock up billions of dollars in Iranian assets.
President Trump made good on his pledge to hit Iran with tough new sanctions in the Oval Office today, taking aim at the man at the top, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
The supreme leader of Iran is one who ultimately is responsible for the hostile conduct of the regime. He's respected within his country. His office oversees the regime's most brutal instruments, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Some of the sanctions were already in the works. Some were added after Iran shot down an unmanned drone last week. President Trump called off a retaliatory strike against missile and radar installations, saying the loss of Iranian lives would not be proportional.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. California Democrat Congressman Ami Bera agrees with the president's decision to hold off on military action against Iran.
I think President Trump made the right decision. He probably did have the authority to make a decision that was proportional, and I think the president came to the right conclusion.
On Fox's Your World with Neil Cavuto, the driver of a pickup truck involved in a crash in New Hampshire that killed 7 motorcyclists before a judge today.
Vladimir Zhukovsky will be taken back to New Hampshire on negligent homicide counts. He faced charges in Massachusetts, but his attorney Donald Frank says those charges were dismissed.
That has only been filed so they can hold him on the fugitive warrant.
Frank says he made it a point to stress to the judge that Zhukovsky's alleged involvement was negligent.
Because there's a difference in the quality of alleged conduct between negligence and intentional actions.
Zhukovsky had been charged with drunk driving twice before. It's not certain when he will face a judge in New Hampshire.
Fox's Gernal Scott on Wall Street. The Dow rose 8 points. The NASDAQ lost 26. This is Fox News.
Hey, welcome to this Subway ad for the new club collection. How do you want it?
I'll take a book club.
Absolutely.
So, last week we sunk our teeth into Subway's meaty new release, the Steak Club.
I didn't finish it yet.
Oh, not again, Sandra. This week, it's the new Southwest Chicken Club, also by Subway. No spoilers, but there's a tasty twist.
Jalapeno cheddar bread and guacamole?
Sandra, get out. Subway, make it what you want.
Good ending.
Limited time only at participating restaurants.
When it comes to power and performance, nothing compares to Dodge. And right now at Cars Plus in Mighty, you can save thousands on many Dodge vehicles in stock during our Dodge Performance Days. Like a new 2019 Grand Caravan SE, save $4,250 or save $6,150 on a new Durango SXT. Looking for more power? Take home a new Charger SXT Plus today for only $37,689 or save over $7,000 on a new Challenger GT. Get more power and performance at Cars Plus in Mighty during Dodge Performance Days. Cars Plus. Driven by you.
Charges filed in the shooting death of a Missouri police officer.
Bonet Meeks, a 26-year-old black male, is now charged with a killing Sunday. A 40-year-old police officer, Michael Langsdorf, who we're told was responding to a bad check complaint at a food market in Wellston, northwest of St. Louis.
Mr. Meeks had the gun in his hand, pointed the gun to the back, pointed the gun to the back of Officer Langsdorf's head, and fired one shot.
Langsdorf was a 17-year police veteran. He leaves behind 2 children and his fiancée. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A lawsuit says representatives of some of the nation's largest generic drug manufacturers use code words to collude with competitors to divvy up market share and coordinate price increases. The code came in emails included in the lawsuit filed last month by attorneys general from more than 40 states. Democratic Connecticut Attorney General William Tong says the goal was to artificially inflate prices, hinder competition, and restrain trade. A Major League manager says he's sorry after a weekend dust-up with a reporter.
New York Mets manager Mickey Callaway apologized Monday after a heated interaction with Newsday beat writer Tim Healy following Sunday's loss to the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
I understand that, I can't control the actions of others or the words of others, but I can always control my reaction to those things.
Callaway allegedly began to argue with Healy as he was making his way out of the clubhouse, with Mets pitcher Jason Vargas leaping to the defense of his manager and threatening to knock out the reporter. According to GM Brody Van Wagenen, both Callaway and Vargas have been fined for their actions. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
A weather alert issued in Paris and another European cities as they brace for temperatures that are expected to break records. France's National Weather Agency saying the heat wave is expected to last all week, with temperatures predicted to hit the low 100s. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
This is Ronnie. Ronnie is about to break his piggy bank.
Come on, piggy bank.
Ronnie wants to upgrade his smartphone.
And this piggy's gonna help me.
If Ronnie had signed up for GTA's handset payment option, he could have selected a new smartphone with an affordable monthly plan.
I could have what?
Exactly. Sign up for HBO at GTA and don't break the bank.
I'm sorry, piggy bank.
Terms and conditions apply. GTA, we start with you.
I love those T's and C's that they've got over there. You're going to love some of the great food that they put together for you on the Ruby Tuesdays menu, and a brand new one that you're going to enjoy. Now, I was talking about different ways that they are crowning, as it were, ribeyes and filet mignons and salmon. But this time I thought, while I can talk about Ruby Tuesdays goodness here, something that I've actually had. In fact, the last time I was at Ruby Tuesdays, I had one of these and just absolutely love it. The Cajun jambalaya pasta. So it's got the word jambalaya in it, which means it's got some New Orleans in there. So it's linguine pasta, shrimp, chicken, andouille sausage. And I don't know about you, but it's not one of the things that I always have in the refrigerator. So it's nice to be able to get some that's got the andouilles in it with the Cajun cream sauce in there and all kinds of peppers that they saute up for you.
I'm from Texas. They had me at Cajun.
Right? Yes. That's so and so you can't. It's hard to get the little crawdads here. So they put shrimp in it, right? So and absolutely nothing wrong with it. Cajun jambalaya pasta at Ruby Tuesdays for you. That and I'm thinking a Heineken Light. Which is because you want a good beer, but you don't want the beer to overpower the jambalaya-ness. So you got that going for you for breakfast over at Ruby Tuesdays. I got American President Lines bringing you Shipping the Future, MRE, Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's never been a better time to go solar and talk to them these days because they've got these great plans that now feature batteries for your solar plan. And Cars Plus, where tonight, that's where you can find Natalia. If you're looking for an excuse to go and find Natalia, show up at the Cars Plus about 6 o'clock. Ask for a test drive and get it all done by the time the Toastmasters meeting starts. Charger SXT Plus is on sale, as is the Challenger GT. But if you're looking for something that's got some SUV on it, then check out the Durango. Go and do a test drive today at Cars Plus in Mighty.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
A. Camacho online. Vince Pareda is hanging out with us. Uncle Robert wanted to know if they would accept any elected officials at the Toastmasters meeting, and the fact of the matter is they would do very well. I think, Natalia, if you're still listening, to go find Uncle Robert because there is a master storyteller there. The problem is that it would take him more than a couple of minutes to be able to weave a couple of great stories about the history of the island from the far back times and even the right now times. Big Sister Shelley Gibson's online. Renee Logie is online as well. Good morning. Nice to see you there. And come on, let's go party late into the night tonight, Renee. And then I'll pour you onto the airplane. Is that all right? Buddy Jerry Roberts is there. Bojo Molino. Wayne Adelby, familiar name to a bunch of people, and a friend of mine going back to the 7th grade at St. Anthony School. Last time that I got a message from Wayne Adelby, it was a punch in the shoulder from a girl named Joyce. Is that ringing a bell for you, Wayne? The message was made and the connection was made. And I don't want to tell... there's a return message, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Tony Mendiola is online this morning as well. Pam Duval is hanging out. Romeo Carlos is hanging out with us this morning. No doubt wondering if there's anything juicy on this program that might turn into a story that him and Cousin Troy might be able to do on the Candid News. Don't know. I mean, I've got my own thoughts on some of the things that have been making headlines and have been drawing conversation around here. Although I don't know how wide a conversation it is. And let me just take care of a couple of names here, and I'll get back to that thought. J.M. Bragg is there. Roland Torres is on. Lee Stolley and others that are hanging out with us this morning on the Facebook Live. Nice to have you all on. Do me a favor. Press the share button if you don't mind, and share this episode of the program with friends and family all over the nation and the world, our worldwide listening audience here. If for no other reason, let them know what it is that captures your imagination and your attention on these random Tuesday mornings.
Now people are going to be be looking for a picture of Cher on our Facebook page.
Oh, sorry, not that kind of Cher, the other kind of Cher. Hanging out and drawing tall Bob cooking a pressure... Hanging out and drawing tall Bob cooking a pressure cooker. Oh, Tall Tales Bob. Okay, cool. Working on because your post meeting set for next week. All right, nice to hear. Kudos, Ray, in tagging me. The lieutenant governor got the attention, I guess, because of your status. I don't know. A. Camacho is referring to something that we were talking about on Facebook. It was my post from Sunday where I was reviewing, 10 days worth of newspapers because I needed to get caught up on what was going on Guam while I was goofing off in Manila and Singapore. And it seemed to be every page, every time I turned a page on the Daily Post, there was something else in there that it just made me roll my eyes. No! And go, let's redo this election. I'm not sure that we got what we were sold in the last election, and virtually all of the positions. This conversation that we're having about the firing range construction and concerns that they've got over the tree and concerns that they've got over the artifacts, that there is already a well-followed plan on what to do and what has been agreed to for about the last dozen years or so between the government of Guam and the federal government, the Department of Defense. And so I kind of bristle at the notion that there is this new bunch of politicians out there that are going to be using this range construction as it has been used since the beginning of the conversation about the military buildup on Guam to try to get themselves reelected. It is always, remember the first one when they said, we're going to put it over here. And they said, no, don't put it over there. We need to get elected. So let's move it to this other part of the island. And then the Marine people said, yeah, okay, we'll take a look at moving it over in this part of the island. And then the politicians were trying to get reelected again. Said, no, that's a terrible place to put a firing range. What are you doing? We need to put it over there. And now searching around, scratching around, looking for any excuse to act tough in front of, like watching guys fight in front of their girlfriends. Hold me back, dude. It's a good thing my chick's here. Otherwise, we're going to fight. But in this case, I think everybody's magodai for a fight with the federal government because they realize, as Michael Knight and Blake Watson did in just the last hour, that we are getting close now to the middle of 2018. Mm-hmm. And in 2019, a mere 6 months or so away, people are going to have to start running for re-election for a variety of positions in the 2020 elections that are going to be coming up. And wouldn't you want to be the one that said, I stood up for the rights of the people. I stood up for our culture and our history. I told Uncle Sam what to do with their firing range and what to do with our tree of life. Our tree of life that I guarantee that there isn't one person in the 35th Guam legislature that even knew that tree existed until, 2 or 3 months ago when they started talking about it and, making mention. And frankly, I kind of blame the people that put the brochures together. Like, why would you bother mentioning that? And then they took Lulian Guerrero out for a tour in the boondocks of the tree and all of that stuff. And I'm like, why would you bother doing that, making a big deal about it? Should have just played that one a little bit closer to your chest. But at any rate, the tree was known about. And if you take a look at the Guam Daily Post, they will tell you the story of how primarily the federal government took an interest in this one last of its kind tree of life up there, that where the the Thnees come from. Was a Dr. Seuss movie, right? And yeah, it's the last of its kind that's growing there, but. The Feds guys said, yeah, we need to do something about this. So they started gathering up some seeds, and now they have seedlings. And they've got seedlings in the ground that they're growing in places where we're not firing ranging, constructioning.
Yeah, I'm no tree expert, but you have 2 fire trees right across the street here in the DPW front yard. I
don't know if those are fire trees or flame trees.
Is there a difference?
Yes. Yeah. Flame trees. Oh boy, flame trees are common. Yeah. I think this one here. I don't know why it's called the fire tree. not a botanist or anything like that.
Right.
I'm a smart aleck on the radio. That's my gig.
It's just a tree with red leaves.
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it's got everybody wetting their beds over at the legislature. That, and, we're finding cultural artifacts. You know why? Because people lived on Guam for 5,000 years. And there's artifacts everywhere. You can't dig around too deep. But you go to the beach and you dig around in the sand for about 2 or 3 feet, depending on where on the beach you are. And guess what? You'll find artifacts. Go swing by the old Okura Hotel, the Lotte Hotel now, and just pick up a couple of rocks, go about 4 inches into the ground. You'll probably find a skull of an ancestor, because that's about one of the places where they buried a whole bunch.
Imagine when they're digging in the ground on the island in about 500 years. You know what they'll find? A 72 Chevy Nova.
Yeah, my cell phone, a cross pen, all of those kinds of things. Yeah. Romeo talking to me on the thing says, "Oh God, hello. That's what I said last night on Candid. We were sold a fake bag of goods with Adelup and a few senators. Whatever the issue is, it's always about getting reelected. Term limits," Kenny Williams says. All right, can we do part-time legislature too? Can we? Is that all right? I don't know. I'm wondering if we've got all of a sudden the tree activists out there that have got egg on their face because they realized that, guess what? We already have 18 of these things growing in pots around the island. Oops. They've been taking care of this since 1998 when I was in high school. Oops. And I don't know. So there's that. But I wonder how much of this is a conversation that is taking place in an echo chamber. Echo. And if you're familiar with the phrase, you get people that are all kind of surrounded around the same place. The government of Guam, legislature, administration, and it's this body of people, it's this column of people that are talking amongst themselves like it is the most important thing ever in the history of conversation. But when you talk to the guy on the street, when you're just yakking with somebody, they ain't really paying attention about trees and artifacts, military buildup at all. I think, most people and the people that are in my echo chamber, folks that are in my echo chamber, we ain't talking about that stuff. We're talking about the rise in crime in this town. We are talking about the crystal methamphetamine problem that we just are beyond our capabilities to solve for whatever reason. Talking about what a lousy economy that we seem to be having right now. And a lot of people that could be working but aren't. A lot of people that are in the food stamp programs and housing assistance programs and all of that. That's what they should be talking about over at the legislature. But to be embroiled in my mind, of what seems to be a get me reelected play, it's kind of embarrassing. Anyway, got the other Governor Leon Guerrero on the line. Good morning, Ken. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. What we're looking at is a major hide the rabbit effort going on, because by focusing so much time and effort and oxygen on this issue, they're distracting from everything you were talking about in your echo chamber, because that's what I'm hearing in my echo chamber. And the general consensus of the people I've been talking to about this is like, don't we have more important things to do than this?
Yes, and so let's find a way to solve some of the big problems that we have here, instead of screwing around with private kitchen laws and balloon laws and banning plastic straw laws and all of these things that at the end of the day aren't going to be enforced, number one, and number two, aren't going to make a difference in anybody's life.
That's one.
Go ahead. What was the other? I'm waiting. Go ahead.
No, what we're looking at here is the bigger problem is that the debt bomb is ticking away like crazy. They're pouring gas on the fuse to make it burn faster. And at some point in time, there's going to be a knock at the door. It's going to be a federal receiver coming into Adelup saying, I guess we're going to have to take over like we did in Puerto Rico, because there is no financial responsibility being shown either in the legislature or at Adelup. But in the meantime, they all got their arms linked together and they're dancing in a circle around a tree, thinking they're the Yaya sisters.
The visual in my head. Digging the visual in my head. I don't know. I bristle at all of this, but you know, it's this is my life in talk radio is having to find an opinion on all of this stuff. And my opinion, unfortunately, I can't roll my eyes enough at some of this stuff that they're talking about over at the legislature. You got another one, the vaping bill, and you know, I'm with Jen on the issue and the Protection Act, the Natasha's Protection Act. But you know what? We don't have time to deal with that problem right now. We've got more important things to deal with. We got guys that are. We got a guy, and I started off the program this morning talking about the guy that shows up over at Cracked Egg the other day and went all the way through the meal and when it was done said, yeah, I don't have any money to pay for it. They called the cops. Cops find drugs on him. Cops are involved in a high-speed chase going on the other day, and the reason why there was a high-speed chase was the guy was out on a felony release, and he already had 8 other cases pending against him in the criminal justice system. Yeah, I'd run from the law as well.
Well, you know, that goes back to what I told you. We've got so many bigger, more serious problems that we should put the weight of 13 people behind. And, I mean, as you know, I've been doing a survey on the financial well-being of families on Guam.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's very alarming to me is the fact that 60% of our families can't pay all their bills in the month due. 60%.
So those 60% need to hear what Tello Taitagui said to the Kevin Kerrigan in the Guam Daily Post yesterday. As far as economic impact, if it's bad, it's justifiable because we're protecting our culture. Well, the people here don't have enough money to eat on a monthly basis. And so it might be okay if you're a senator in the Guam legislature or something like that, living the high life out there, but not everybody is in the same place. And your economic impact, if it makes you feel good about protecting the culture that's already being protected by the agreements that we've already signed, and if that means that it's going to be less income for somebody, how do you justify that?
You can't, because out of that 63% that can't pay their bills every month in the month due, another 25% can only pay their bills with help from their family. You know, so we have a problem that's bad and getting worse by the day.
So let's make it worse by getting people out of a job. You know who's got that contract up at the base is going to be Black Construction, and you know they've got all kinds of people from Guam that are working that, and if that goes on pause, those people will be without jobs. Hey, it's 9:22. I got to break away. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate it. There's Ken LG, the other governor, Leon Guerrero on the line, and as I said, EIF guys coming in here in just a second. So stick around, Brown, for that.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
We know too well the inconvenience of not having power after a storm. You worry about the food in the freezer going bad. Nights get hot. It's hard finding comfort when going to sleep. These are realities. But with solar and battery storage from Micronesia Renewable Energy, these realities can be a thing of the past. The solar works during the day and the batteries power your home at night. Call 632-2613 to see how solar plus battery storage can make life a little more convenient. MRE, the smarter choice.
Studio time 9:23, and I've got Director Cho in the studio. That's what I like to call her. It's a kind of an inside joke between us. Hannah Iriarte is in the studio, and there's little Genevieve is in the studio as well. You're going to behave. You're going to be good for Ray Ray, right? Okay, that's my girl. I got my 2 girls in the studio. It's a great day for loveliness. However, she is not the primary interviewee here this morning. The primary interviewee. Let me see if I can get all of the right cameras on here. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now I just got to get the camera on this guy here. In the studio, it's Gia is your name?
Yes, Gia.
Gia. Just Gia? There's no last names like Madonna, Prince?
Gia Wang.
There
you go.
So I was going to say welcome to Guam, but you've been to Guam a bunch of times before
I'm actually born. Yeah, I'm actually born and raised here in Guam, representing Tamuning. That's pretty much where I grew up. So very familiar with this area. Though I actually got lost on my way here, so not too sure. I mean, every time I come back, it's like, all right,
something's different,
right? Or it's like I think I remember this road, but yeah, I mean, I've been coming back, for the last 7 years doing EIF Electric Island Festival, and Guam is my home, and it's always so good to be home.
Well, and now where did you go to school? What's your background?
Yeah,
story
sure. So
that?
I mean, if we want to take it way back, LBJ, Tamuning Elementary, St. Anthony, then Father Duenas, and that's pretty much where I ended it. Okay. FD 2002, shout out.
Nice. Class of 80 represent.
All right.
Like that. So where did you go after school, and how did you get involved in something like EIF and the 6 a.m. group? And we'll get around to how we got the name for it. But I want to, what's your story here?
Yeah, sure. So actually growing up here, I played a lot of basketball, and that was pretty much my entire life. I mean, that's pretty much what I committed myself to in high school. After that, when I realized that LeBron James is a year younger than me, I realized the dream of going to the NBA probably wasn't happening. I mean, that's really my mindset into doing things. It's either go all the way or that. So I went to school out in Virginia, did the whole Virginia Tech, then transferred to a smaller school, Radford. And it wasn't until my last, I guess my senior year going in, where I actually went to San Diego and met with a bunch of friends from Guam, who were all living there. I mean, San Diego is where majority of the people usually move to. So it was during that summer that they introduced...
Chino's, dude. You know the spot?
No, I do not. But Santana's Burritos, that's the spot, yeah, in PB. But I had the fortunate of opportunity to meet with friends from back home, and they're like, hey, we're gonna be out hanging out, and we're gonna be going clubbing, and we like dance music, electronic music. I'm like, sure. They went with them and just had a blast. And I think what happened was, for me during that period in my life where there's no more basketball anymore. So my passion was gone almost in life, and it was kind of just floating around. And it wasn't until that I discovered this music, this feeling and vibe, that I really refound this passion for hey, I haven't felt something so strongly about this since basketball. And this time forward, I'm going to push it all the way. I'm going to take it all the way. Essentially turning pro is what I call it, into doing what I'm doing, and got into it as a DJ first and foremost. Then, from DJing, I started doing my own events and just really fell in love with the whole process, the grind, even though it's not the same as sports, but the work, the grind, building a team around it. I mean, that whole concept and philosophy really just kind of drew me into it. And,
anybody that's done events, anybody that's done site events, field events, knows exactly what you're talking about. There is this rush that you get while you're setting it up. My poison used to be car shows. Used to love putting together car shows, and so we do these things over at Greyhound. And you were old enough, maybe you attended a few of those.
I lived right across from Greyhound,
dude. Those were my shows that we did
Amazing.
over there. The auto jams, the original auto jams.
Is that what my mom and dad was complaining? What's going on out there? It's so loud.
Yeah, it was supposed to be loud. It was supposed to be, a visual assault. I'd take all the biggest vehicles that we had, park them on the side of the road.
I remember that. No, seriously, because I live right across from Gray, so I saw it. I mean, at the parking lot. I mean, yeah, I remember that.
So those were my gigs anyway. So it was the event, putting together the event and laying out all the different things that you wanted to happen at the event, and then of course the event itself. And you're hoping, you're waiting. My God, am I going to get a crowd this time? Is it going to be cool? Will everybody have a good time? And then the autopsy at the end. There's something special about event planning. So that's what you've decided to do. So how many EIF shows on Guam now?
Well, for the main event, it's been 7, and then throughout the years, we actually do different various events. Road to EIF, which is a pre-party. Now that we actually have an end of summer, which is our next event, which is usually done 2 months after the main show. And, just various events that we have. So, I mean, total, altogether, I would say between 11 to 12, and we're also doing EIF and Saipan.
Yeah.
So it's it's been a journey, and out in Los Angeles, we pretty much have bi-weekly events going on now, and my team out there just did a show the same weekend that we had EIF. So it's been an interesting operation that we're running.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Is there any money in it?
Oh, at first there wasn't,
Right.
but like you. Anyone who's ever done events, it's more the labor of love, first and foremost, right? And I think it's so important for young entrepreneurs or, anyone who's really going after their passion to realize that you got to love it first.
Yeah.
You got to love it first. You got to find that passion. Then once you find that purpose and intent, then you have to realize that, let's make it sustainable.
So what we're talking about here is an event that took place last weekend, the EIF Electric Island Festival. And now the people listening to this broadcast probably didn't go. Because they're all old farts like me, right? So they probably knew of the event, or their kids are going to the event, or in some cases their grandkids ended up at the party and had a good time. But so there might be the thing. No. Are there things that you can do that might be attractive to an audience that like this one here?
Far as like to attend the event,
well, I mean, because you're an event guy, you're basically producing. So I mean, is it always going to be about electronic music? Is it always going to be about DJs and urban lifestyle? Or are there other events that you're looking at, other concert maybe activities that might appeal to an older or broader audience?
Right. I think, to be quite perfectly honest, electronic music, dance music, and whatnot, I mean, it serves a certain demographic. Now, the thing is, everybody thinks that it's only for young people. But, if you actually...
I'm a 12-inch freak from a long time ago.
Right. So, as far as the demographic goes, and not to, shun anyone out in age, but the thing is, electronic music, as far as the demographic goes, it's actually quite wide. I mean, if anyone has ever gone to an EDC or any of the big scale events, you see people from the age of 18 to 49 years old. There's this real story called Technogramma, and she is part of this movement festival in Detroit. Technogramma, look it up, movement festival. She's been, out partying at festivals for some time. She's like, an icon, a legend into it. So our whole entire culture for electronic music is, hey, we welcome everyone. We understand that it may not be for everyone, but that's the whole vibe, that we try to create. And yeah.
It might happen. Just show up and have a good time. What's the word I'm looking for? Don't disqualify yourself.
Exactly.
If you like to have a good time, if you like music, and there's a lot of people that, for which there aren't a lot of musical opportunities, well, expand your horizons, and you will find there's something about the beat, there's something about the people that are attracted to the beat and the lights, and it's going to be a good time.
Right, absolutely. And that's the...
There's beer. There will be beer.
Right. Ray, I actually want to, emphasize something as to why, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm too old for this. You know what? Don't judge yourself. If you like this and you want to go have a good time, be that cool, dude out there just doing your thing. People actually like that. It's the coolest thing ever to see just, someone who may be slightly on the older age, just start having fun, having a good time. It's what makes this scene beautiful, right? And I think...
Yeah, I got a couple of guys on Facebook. A. Camacho says, I'm not going to go shirtless with glowing suspenders.
And that's fine.
It's not required.
Right, and it's not required. You dress up however you want. Yeah. I showed up as on a T-shirt as well, too. I mean, I understand. And the whole thing is we created a platform for you to be yourself. If you want to go shirtless with glow sticks, fine. If you want to come with your polo shirt, hey, that's fine. That's what this is all about. It's not about, yes, a lot of people feel that, well, that's not for me, but at the end of the day, our motto is be yourself. And if being yourself means I don't want to be there, hey, that's fine too. If being yourself means, hey, I want to go there and have a good time.
We're playing in the big leagues here with this style of music and festivals like the ones that we just had here, which are fairly common in the States. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the 6 a.m. group here in just a second. It's 9:33. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and learn about great plans they've got for mobile and internet. Call them 888-8888.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Oh, that's just too sweet. Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Cold Stone Creamery. And if you're looking for something to celebrate, my suggestion is you find a little girl that's in the studio. Her name is Genevieve, and take her over to Cold Stone and get her some ice cream cake. They got the tall, dark, and delicious or Oreo cookies and cream. Order online at coldstonecakes.com. Cold Stone Creamery, making fresh batches of ice cream at every store.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo, 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
There it is, Nate Horn online saying, I love techno and trance. He's 42 years old. Probably would have been among the older guys over at the EIF over the weekend, or maybe not. Maybe not. You know, if I was in town, I would have been there. I was at a different scene in Manila City, where there was all kinds of cool music that was playing and great light shows and things like that. And that's, you know, kind of the infrastructure of the show. How well do those travel for you? Is that you know, just It just is. I mean, you say we're going to do this show, and then all of a sudden there's your stage, your lights, and all your gear.
Right. You know, for every one of these electronic music festivals, you know, sound is actually the most important thing, right? I mean, I think it's being able to feel the music, feel the bass. I mean, hearing electronic music on the radio or in your car, you know, all you're really hearing is just that. But when you really bring out the bass, right, that music really hits you. Then you add all the lights and the effects and all that, the aerial dancers, which we actually included.
I saw that.
Thanks to Montresana Fitness, you know, that was a nice element that we added. It's all about, I guess, stimulating audio and, I guess, visual and audio stimulation is what we're really going for. And when you're able to kind of, I guess, put someone in that state of trance, you know, it truly is a different experience, and you're really just, yes, you're partying with people, but it's really more about how you're connecting with that, right? Understanding what you're going through in your own life and how this moment that you're going through is going to help you push forward. Everybody needs an escape, a moment of, you know, self-reflection. And believe it or not, you know, those who have gone to EDC or any of the festivals or even EIF, you know, these are the feedbacks that we get is like, man, I really needed this reset button. You know, whatever it is that they went through their own experience, good or bad. You know, I'm not to say that everyone, you know, experiences that, but that's what we're aiming for. And the feedback to that is just, you know, that's the ultimate feedback.
But I'm trying to figure out, and maybe it's different for everybody. I mean, but what you're talking about in an individual level is almost primal, right? You know, it's very personal, very primal. But then there's this community aspect of it, and then there is the event aspect of it. And you might not have heard beat number one from the EIF over the weekend, but you got a sense of what it was like there from the pictures. I mean, the social media blow up that came from this is amazing. Some of the pictures that I'd seen, some of the videos that I'd seen from over the weekend, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, people just really having a good time.
Right, and you mentioned a sense of community, and that's actually what EIF is now. It started off, you know, as an event that we wanted to do, but now it's become a platform for people for self-expression, you know, for friends to get together, for just, you know, I mean, anything really, you know, and for us to kind of now understand that we are a platform that brings people together, right? For them to just have a moment of good times. And I mean, that's, for me, I'm speechless almost as far as how, you know, how all of this is turning out into. And, you know,
not bad for a kid from LBJ Elementary, right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You know.
So there's, you know, Blake and I was talking with Blake Watson, a friend of yours, and I'm sure one of those guys. If he had the time, he would have been at EIF as well over the weekend. But one of the things that he and I were talking about is the 6 a.m. group is not just about the, you know, the actual events, the shows, the festivals. You do other things in the community by way of giving back.
Absolutely. So, you know, in LA, what we normally do is we do a food drive, at the end of the year, because we do so much events in the downtown warehouse scene. And, if anyone's been to LA downtown, there's nice areas and there's not so nice areas. And we're so conscious that the fact that, hey, if we're going to be coming in to do these things, let's also give back. For me, I'm aware that dance music, electronic music, raves, all that stuff, there's a negative side to it. Right, but all I'm trying to do is saying,
like everything.
Like everything. So everything that we do, not just in LA, but here in Guam, is we're trying to push more on the positive side. So here in Guam, every year we do this thing called EIF Week, and at the beginning of each week, we do a beach cleanup. These beach cleanups, we're giving away tickets. Last year we gave away 100 tickets. 150 people showed up, cleaned out the beach. This year, we did it over at Paseo, and that's just always something that we keep in mind. And I think 2 years ago, we actually went into Soup Kitchen. It was like, hey, look, let's go ahead and do something a little bit more than just a beach cleanup. People got to eat, and we're willing to do that. And, when I say that we're a festival that gives, we probably give away more tickets than we really should be. It's to the point where some of my staff is like, we need to take that power away from Gia, because he's just,
like everybody knows gets a ticket.
Right, exactly. But, for me, my pushback is that, look, let's give everyone the opportunity. I do understand that, while putting this show, there are expenses, right? But at the same time, we also understand that tickets are not cheap. We do early birds, tier 2s, and regular GAs, and we just understand the circumstances that some people are in. And for me and for our team, it's more important for us to try to give that experience than say, hey, you know what, if you're going to try to experience it, you have to buy it. We give people so many opportunities to win, and we do scavenger hunts and everything.
Well, and that's the thing, is the sense that I get is there's not a velvet rope here that is preventing people from being able to go and attend an Electric Island Festival.
Well, the only velvet rope is that you have to be 18 plus. So that's that's the only limitation. But you're absolutely right. Electronic, the music, it truly is a community for everyone, and it's young people, old people, straights, LGBT,
it's a diverse crowd, but I think reflective of the communities that we have here on Guam that are going to go out and have a good time at parties like this one. There's you kind of got to take a chance on this, and there's a fun meme on Facebook. I don't know if you guys put it up there, but there's a meme on Facebook that it's like 2001, electronic dance music, techno music will never ever work on Guam, and 2019 you got you're blowing up the Paseo, right? But there was a chance that you had to take, because a lot of times people think of events here on Guam, it's like reggae shows or some kind of rock show or something like that, and you guys are coming in basically from all the way on the left side, coming in with EDM and the music, right?
Right. Hey, there you go.
So how tough was that decision to try to bring it to Guam? Going, well, I don't know, that's kind of reggae town.
Right. When I first brought up the whole concept, obviously the pushback is first of all, nobody listens to techno, quoting Eminem, right? And I want to make it clear that meme is not a bash onto these are the people that didn't believe us. It's more to show people hey, if you really love something or are passionate about something and you see something that someone else don't let other people's opinions and judgments mess with your head, right? Because in order to really push this out, and especially a new concept anywhere, not just in Guam, you have to first believe in yourself. It all starts internally first. So once you're able to break through that, hey, look, there's going to be all these pushbacks, even from the closest people around me, my friends and family, why? You're already doing this in LA. You don't have to go back and
20 guys in a gay bar. They're listening to techno music on Guam, and so all of a sudden you want to do a festival,
right? But see, that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that Guam actually had a scene around the early 2000s, and it was done in a more underground scale, because that's just how rave culture was back then. And when I heard that there was some sort of history or foundation that actually
the old Deviate,
Lush, the Family Crew, Atomic Productions, let's throw it out there, right? And it was actually hearing that story that made me say, hey, it's been there already. Let's do it right this time. Let's not do it underground in this way. Let's bring it down to the main light. And I think the timing of it too was that EDC was also blowing up, plus social media was also blowing up. So now more people on Guam were seeing, hey, this is actually what's trending out in Los Angeles, all over the world. And I think for me, you know, luck played in a sense as far as timing goes. And yeah, that's, you know, with a little bit of perseverance, you know, me doing my things in LA, and also I have to thank all the Guam people, you know, who are now living in the U.S., who are just all about dance music. They gave me the confidence because I was able to see something that not a lot of people here were able to see because, you know, EDC 2010, the last one in Los Angeles, believe it or not, there were over 300 people between the class of 1999 to 2009, all present at EDC, hanging out. And these were people that I didn't know, but just to think that if there was a 10-year, you know, spread of high school class at EDC in 2010, I mean, where is this eventually going to lead to and go? So for me, being able to realize that, understanding the history, that just gave me all the, you know, all the strength and energy to just push us forward, regardless of what people thought or said. Because, yeah, I was in my own head. People thought I was delusional.
Yeah,
right?
but it's for real. And we're talking about it in talk radio. Amazingly, Chia's in the studio with me from 6 a.m. Group, and there is an interesting story behind how you got named the 6 a.m. Group.
Yes, you know, 6 a.m. Group. You know, it started off as a passion hobby, and what's been amazing about it is that I've been in the industry now 13 years, going on 14 years. You know, I will be straight up and tell you that 6 a.m. at the age of 22 meant that's when the bar opens, and that's when the liquor store, and that's when where's the after party?
Right.
Where's the after party, right? And, you know, now that I'm 35, 36, for me, 6 a.m. means a different meaning. I'm up at 6 in the morning, Ray, going to the gym, working out, taking care of my health. And it's crazy because that's the evolution of my brand, and that's the evolution of life. If you really, life is about balance. If you look at a clock, a traditional clock that is, right, 6 a.m. strikes right in the middle, and that's what life is about. It's about balance. You cannot just party your face off every single day and weekend.
You hear that, Mike?
But at the same time, you cannot also just be working, because that's going to drive you crazy. Life is about balance, and that's all we're trying to, you know, now push, is that this is our brand. It's actually happening with my life, you know, as we speak. I mean, it's about working hard, but also being able to find time for leisure and recreational activities as well. When you have a balanced life, people talk about, oh, how do I be happy, aiming for a happy life and all that. And I think happiness really stems from balance. When things are in equilibrium, when things are, you know, and it's, you know, homeostasis, you know,
exactly the word I was going to use, yeah.
Right? You know, it's that I think brings a lot of peace and self-contentment. And I think it's through peace and self-contentment is what ultimately drives happiness, in a sense.
You know, and all of that leads to a weekend, as I said, social media begins blowing up, and there are pictures of young people in a variety of different clothes that, you know, there's a combination of incredible music and Halloween and a pride parade and all of these things all happening kind of simultaneously and at once. And I think it's great that there is somebody like you from around here that is able to create that kind of atmosphere where people can dress up the way they want to, dance the way they want to, goof off the way they want to, and hang with whoever they want to. I think there's something about that is special and kind of magical.
For sure, you know, Ray, and, you know, I really, you know, as much as people is like, thank you for bringing this in, you know, I want to reciprocate this because, like, if it wasn't for the 2,000-3,000 people that continuously come out and support EIF, what will we be? You know, and so I also want to take this time to thank the island of Guam for accepting this event, just as I have accepted this as my home. You know, and I think it's really that mutual respect, that mutual peace and love that brings the unity together. And peace, love, unity, respect, that's the motto of electronic music culture. And when I first heard of that, I can't help but to think that that's what the island culture is about. We are about peace, we are about love, we're about respecting each other, and through that, unity, you know, it comes into place. It's not to say that people don't have beef and drama and all this stuff, but, you know, I think in order to deal with that, deal with these conflicts, deal with these personalities, right, always use peace, always use love, always use respect, no matter what.
I dig it. There's a phrase that I keep in my head to remind me to try to do things differently as often as I can, and that is repetition is the death of magic. Do you worry that over all of the years doing the same kind of show that people will eventually not necessarily turn away from it, but become maybe more critical of it? Do you look at the way that you program these events and try to throw something different at them, at your consumers all the time to avoid that repetition?
Absolutely. And ever since year one, for me and my team, we understand that this entire journey is about challenging ourselves, just as how it should be in life. You got to always evolve and always challenge yourself. So every year, even though we've been doing it for 7 years now, every year feels like the first year because we're always adding elements. We're always testing things out. I mean, in 2016, we did 2 days, 2 stages, trying to do, all these things. Yeah. So we always try to bring something different to the table.
I'm glad that he's trying to get me into a break here for a second. I think he's trying to get me into a break. My producer's trying to get my attention. What is it? You want me to go to 1? I can do that. Yes, go to 1? Fine. I don't know who it is. Good morning, this is Ray.
Hey, Alpha David. Hey, this is Marquez McManus. Hey,
dude.
I know Ben Schiff from EIF or works with them, and they're really good people. And shalom to Ben and the other folks. It's peace in Hebrew. Working hopefully next year to bring out Zuka. It's the new Matisyahu of Jerusalem, and they're kind of an eclectic reggae, jazz instrumentalist, and they've got an excellent sound. They just got married. All of them got married this year, and one of them's having a baby. So,
what did you say? There's the Jewish Matisyahu?
Yeah, well, they're the new.
The new?
Matisyahu group. Yeah, Zuka.
Zuka is the name. All right. Well, hey, dude, when it comes up, let me know. We'll get some spots on for you.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Have a great day.
I will. 9:50 in the morning. Gee, I want to thank you very much for coming by the radio station, and I want to thank Hannah for bringing you by this morning. It was an unusual concept for me to get my head around when it came to, let's do an interview with the guy that brings in the EDM shows on Guam, because as I said, it's a different audience listening than I think. But what the sense that I got is, that there's guys out there that are willing to take a chance. There are guys out there that are willing to try things that people say ain't going to work, and that's the lesson that I want people to hear on the program, is that courage is always rewarded, and there might be some things that you're afraid of, but you got to try.
Exactly.
If you don't try, the answer is always no.
Exactly. And, Ray, one message to your audience as well, right? A lot of them have kids, grandkids, and whatnot, and I think right now, because we do have the attention of the millennial generation, if anybody follows on social media, we post a lot of motivational things, a lot of things, teenagers, millennials, they're going through their own thing, and a lot of times, not gonna lie, they don't tell their parents everything and things that they're going through. I'm very aware of that, and so we create a platform where we constantly push out encouragement, positivity, positive news, anything that we can do to just try to, help them go through whatever it is that they're going through. And to all the parents out there, EIF is a platform, and we do care about the people that's in our community, and we do really, really care about the people that comes to our shows. That's what it's all about.
Nobody's ever heard of any violence at your events or anything like that. Anybody get busted for crazy stuff at the EIFs? Some incredible stuff. I'm reminded of another meme. In fact, this one I saved to the phone because it was so important. The trick here is it doesn't matter what the kind of music is that no matter what happens in your life, you will always have the music. Even after everybody that you've loved has come and gone in your life, and you're going through some hard times, the music is always there for you. It never goes away. And whether that's classical music or whether it's folk stuff from the 60s, disco from the 70s, rock stuff from the 80s, you'll always have your sounds, and it'll always sound good in your headphones. But frankly, I'm with you. I like the bass.
Nice,
give
nice,
me
nice,
something,
awesome.
Give me something with volume on it. All right, well, listen, thanks for coming by, Hannah. Thanks for bringing him by. I got to take a real quick break on the program. We're getting a selfie up here, and I'll figure out how I'm going to kill the next 7 minutes.
Your home is one of the most important investments you'll make in your life. At Nanbo Insurance, you can rest easy knowing that you're covered with reliable and affordable homeowners insurance. Nanbo makes it easy to protect what matters the most so you can enjoy the moments that matter the most. With Nanbo, you can also save big when you bundle up and insure your car, home, motorcycle, or business. Enjoy great savings up to 50%. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for more details.
Business travel just got easier. Take your data plan with you for only $10 a day to all 17 Data to Go destinations. Never worry about additional data roaming charges when you go where your business needs you. The US, China, Thailand, and so much more. Have the assurance you need to check emails, surf the web, and stay connected. Call 688-2677 today to make sure your account is Data to Go ready. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Terrible job I have, isn't it? I get to hang out with big-time DJs from the States, pretty girls from Toastmasters, and Director Cho out there. 9:54 in the program. 888-8255 is the telephone number. Save that for Klitsky gets on the radio about 4 o'clock this afternoon. And I'm sure there will be some interesting riffs that Bob is going to be able to take you through on his program, starting, as I said, at 4 o'clock here. Items on the table of contents, I think I got to most of it, and I think I got to most of the points that I wanted to make on the program here today, and among them is it must be the tree of life under scrutiny and protection efforts since about 1998, but none of that makes any difference because we're going to use that as an excuse to put together some kind of a resolution. Conversation, and I had the audio, but I kind of forgot to play it for you this morning. A conversation that Kevin Kerrigan had with Joe Arnett from Guam's business community, and get his thoughts on the conversation that was taking place over at the legislature. And while the legislature may act and come out with a very strongly worded resolution, they've done it before. With no consequence whatsoever. It's possible we'll see the same thing. It's just a little bit of drama, a little bit of echo chamber rattling over at the legislature and Adelup. But at the end of the day, I think for most people it isn't going to make that much of a difference. And we'll start targeting, I suppose, tomorrow one of the other, some other big deal stories. Also tried this morning to concentrate on a little bit of good news, and a piece of really good news is that Black Construction Company, local guys that spent a lot of time working there, my buddy Joe Leasialangi and others, working, and generations, multiple generations of people that work at Black Construction have been awarded $122 million worth of contract. Yeah. To build a new northern wastewater plant. Now, normally the way it would have worked was the GWA would need to go out and find $122 million. They'd need to go out and borrow from a bank or go to the bond market and find $122 million. And the ratepayers over time would end up paying for that. Not the case in this bid. Not the case in this award. The $122 million plus is coming from the federal government of the United States. We get to spend it for them. That was one of the original and long time ago deals that was made between Guam and the Pentagon and the Department of Defense once upon a time, where they recognized that there was going to be an impact on the community in many different ways. We take a look at that new roadway that we've got for you over by the Route 1 and 3. Remember, they did all of that construction. You know why? Because that's where the laydown is going to be for the Marines, and they knew that there was going to be an impact on certainly that intersection, that part of the roadway. So they built. They went and turned it into the big let's get to Dededo superhighway that it is. And a whole lot of effort that got put into that. That is not paid for by DPW. That money did not come from Uncle Fed for that. So there's I think a little bit more of that giving that is on the way. But $122 million to comply with EPA regulations and to provide for new pipes and some new wastewater treatment up in Dededo where everybody lives, without you and I having to pay for it, ends up being a really, really good thing. GPA about ready to make an announcement as soon as the dust is cleared on the protest window, but going to make an announcement about the Korea Electric Power Corporation. They were notified by the Power Authority. Them and the other bidders were notified on who was successful, although GPA hasn't necessarily put out any kind of press release making that award. The people from the Korea Electric Power Corporation were not as shy about it. They came out with a news release, I think, that went out to the South Korean press just a couple of days ago, said, hey, guess what we won on Guam? So, and I forget what the number is on it. It was trying to remember how many millions of dollars that particular construction job is going to be worth. Not too far away from the super driveway that they built out by GRMC, and on the other side of GRMC is about where that's going to be going. There were some people that had some issues about having power facilities so close to a hospital, and then there were a bunch of other people who said, shut up, happens all the time, stop wetting the bed, and just get behind all of this. Is there more? Haven't had a chance to talk with Mike St. Nicholas about a town hall that he's got coming up this weekend. Maybe we'll be able to do that in the next day or two. Anyway, the music's playing in the background. That's usually my signal to cease the talking and get on to the next thing. So I'm going to worry about doing that in the next couple of minutes here at the radio station. KUSG, I got you for Michael Knight and Kevin Kerrigan and Blake Watson and everybody else that helped me have a good time this morning. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you tomorrow morning at 6. Don't forget, Bob Klitsky on the radio, 4 o'clock this afternoon with the Tall Tales program. Until then, love you, mean it. Bye.
Round 2. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump signing off on a new set of economic sanctions against Iran.
Less than a week after the downing by Iran of an American military drone, President